And we are live. Welcome to the NiceGuyAndy podcast with your host, Superfly Johnny Lee, and my co-host tonight, the man with the plan, Big Money, four-time state champion. And we got a special show tonight with two Hall of Famers in Jimmy Walls, Ready X, baby, and Lone Wolf, Bobby Blade. What's up, brother?
What's going on, man?
Doing good.
Good deal. Hey, look here, Steve-O. Look, check it out, baby.
Who?
Hall of
Bobby
Fame.
Blade, check it
Jeez.
out. Look here, baby.
I wish you told me about that. I would have brought mine with me, too. You're not the only Hall of Famer in here. I'm a four-time Hall of Famer myself, and everybody needs to remember that.
That's right.
Hey, that's right. That's exactly right, man.
Because ain't nobody else going to put us over but ourselves.
That's right. Hey, Larry didn't put us over last night. Dirty
Yeah, I
Chris
can't
did
believe
put
that.
us over a little bit, so I'll say that.
Hey, Larry put me over.
He did. You're
Yep.
right.
Yeah.
I was surprised Larry didn't put over Ready X. I was like, do you have any nice things to say about Ready X?
No, man, no. Everybody put over Rated X. I mean, just look at his career.
Exactly.
Hey,
I mean,
Right.
everybody loved Ready
That's
X,
right.
including
No-
the fans out there.
Johnny Lee, no jizz off, baby. That was
That's
me.
right.
No jizz off.
Rated X didn't lay down for nobody.
That's right. So, Ready X, what was your favorite moment from your time at NWA?
Man, honestly, the boys in the back. Honestly, the boys in the back we all worked hard. We made that show packed. We was in that building 54 nights a year.
Yeah.
Zach.
52 Sundays, Christmas night, Thanksgiving night. Packed. Every show. And it was because of the boys in the back. I mean, we put on it was the best show in Kentucky.
Oh, hands down.
No doubt about it. I mean, you talking Dirty Chris, you talking Rowdy Red. We had the Patriot, Doug Vines, Billy Marino, Steve Marino, Danny Fargo. I mean,
Tracy Smothers.
oh my God.
Wolfie D. Who else?
Paul Diamond.
Paul Diamond, regulars. They were all regulars, and it was amazing, man. It was an amazing crew of talent that we had to work with, man.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
And MWA's been around since 1970.
1969.
1969, someone got their thing wrong on
Yeah.
Cage.com again.
Yeah.
Apparently, they don't realize that it's been around longer than that.
Yeah, Cliff Lilly actually started the company in 1969, late 1969, sold it to Dale Mann in 1970. Dale Mann took it to heights unprecedented. Then he sold it to Danny Fargo in 1995, and then in 2000, Chris Hayes took over. And then 2007, I think it was 2006, 2007, Mark Morris bought in with Chris Hayes as well. So, it's had a few owners, and like X said, it was the top promotion in the state for years and years and years. It ran for 43 years consistently. And it wasn't just Georgetown. When we talk about the Mountain Wrestling Association, a lot of the younger kids, a lot of the younger kids and everything, they think that the MWA was just Georgetown. It was more than just Georgetown. We were there 54 nights a year. That's counting Thanksgiving and Christmas, and with New Year's Eve as well. And I'm getting feedback.
Yeah, I'm hearing someone's.
Yeah, but anyway, that's probably me. It is me. Okay, sorry about that. But, we would do Georgetown on a weekly basis every Sunday night, 54 nights a year. And we would also work other towns as well. We had a loop that we would do. Yep. With Dale Mann, we had 4 or 5 nights a week that we would work. With Fargo, 3-4 nights a week. Then once Chris took it over and everything, we settled into a more independent schedule.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, still, the talent was always there. It was always a hot crowd and everything.
I believe because we've been watching this, and there ain't been a dull crowd ever in that place. It's been lit up no matter what.
The fans were phenomenal
Yeah.
there. They followed us. It didn't matter if we went to Owensville, we went to Mount Olivet, we went up to Augusta, we go to Mount Sterling, Nicholasville,
Yep.
we go down to Stanford and run shows. we were, I mean, all over. And then when Dale had it, of course, he was running Monticello. He was running Bowling Green.
Yeah.
Dale would run 7 nights a week sometimes.
Yeah. And when I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're good.
When Dale Mann had it and everything too, he would also run a yearly out west show or tour, I should say,
Yes.
where he would go out. They would go out for like a month and stay out there and everything. I was lucky enough to be part of the very last one, but it was very scaled back. It was only a week. I went to North Dakota, South Dakota, and Nebraska, and was able to work on that and everything. But we were gone just for a week. But it was amazing. I mean, we were out in all these new states that, we had never wrestled before and in front of crowds that had never seen us. And the thing was the crowds that had never seen us and everything, they would show up just like we got an old MWA show up on the screen here for you people that are watching at home.
Simba.
And, the crowds were phenomenal. They didn't know us out west. But they showed up like this and everything, and they reacted to everything we do because we told them stories.
Jacob Ratliff said, "Hey, what's up, Bobby Blade?"
Hey, I love Jacob Ratliff. He's crazy, man.
Yep.
He's crazy.
He's one of those guys that works the crowd.
Yep.
Yeah, he came down and did a couple of nights on our fair tour this year. So,
Yeah. Jacob's a good dude,
He
man.
had a
I
hell of a
really
match,
like
didn't he?
Jacob.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Good guy.
Him and Dwayne Davis tore it up at EWA that one night. They suplexed each other on the outside. That took some guts.
Off of the entrance steps there
Yep.
to the floor. That was, man.
Look, your paint's running.
Yeah.
Oh
You're
my God.
watching an old Simba match with me on it right now and everything, where I would paint my face up and everything, and the match just ended and my face paint is all runny and all that stuff. So
And you were talking about Rick earlier.
No,
What were you going to say?
Rick Gibson?
Yep.
No. I hate that guy. That's the guy I hate most in the whole business.
What?
Yeah, I hate Rick Gibson.
He almost made Bobby Blade quit on the spot just
Look,
by saying hi.
Look, we went to Indiana. And they teamed me and Bobby Blade up together, right?
Yep.
And we wrestled Rick Gibson and Todd Morton, the new Rock and Roll Express.
Yeah.
And that's the first night I ever worked heel. And that was a revelation, in my opinion, because we were together. We were phenomenal
Yeah.
together.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly.
Exactly.
Because and we had we won, baby. Yes.
That's right.
They called us pretty nasty.
Yes.
That's what Dale Bass was the ring announcer that night, and he called us pretty nasty. Bobby Blade and Rated X, and we got over awesome with that
Awesome.
crowd.
Yes.
Yeah, that was Midwest Championship Wrestling.
Yeah, Big Joe Davis.
Yep.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That shows y'all star power.
Rated X, I wanna ask you, how's the fair tour going, or is it still going, and how was it this summer?
Man, we were all over the state. Last Sunday, we came back from Marshall County, 4 hours away from me.
Nice.
So all the way down the land between the lakes. That was the last fair show. Now we got festivals coming. So we got Garrett County Tobacco. It's called the Heritage Festival now. 2 nights there. More than likely, we're going to Mount Vernon, do the Bittersweet. We do it every year. And Terry has told me just this week that there's 6 or 7 that he's talking to right now, festivals. So who knows where we're going.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah. Yeah. And the fair tour was phenomenal, man. Phenomenal. I mean, 20-some fairs. We run the most fairs in the state, between myself and Terry England.
Yep.
And, of course, we're partners on all this stuff, and UCW, USWF. And we try to run it just like this right here, like Georgetown, MWA.
Yep. That's the way to do it.
Look,
Let's strive for it.
This right here was never broken. The wrestling business has never been broken. So there's no need to reinvent it.
Yep.
There's no need to go back and say, hey, we can do it. You can't do it any better than this.
No.
Exactly.
No.
Bottom
absolutely
line.
not. The thing is you got a building full of people right here that all still believed in Santa Claus.
They still believe.
And the thing is you could still have that too, But everybody, I'm going to probably get a little bit of heat here with younger guys and everything, but they all say that wrestling has evolved, there's an evolution and everything. I don't look at it that way because I don't think it's evolved. I think it's been a lateral movement, and I'll explain that. Because the things that the old school guys like us and everything were doing back in the day, the crowd work, the mic work, telling the stories and everything, they don't necessarily do that today. However, on the flip side of that, the guys that are working today and everything, they are more athletic. I will give them that, but they don't work the crowd like we did and everything. So I think it's an even playing field there. There's no evolution, there's no de-evolution, anything like that. It's what we were doing, they're not doing now, and what they're doing now, we didn't do then. So I think it's an even field. I think
Exactly.
Well, I try to help these kids. They don't ask for advice anymore. We would ask. We'd ask Tracy or some of those guys, Danny Fargo, Dale Mann, how can we get better?
Yeah.
Today's guys, they're there, brother. I mean, they're and they don't ask us, our opinion. What can we do better? What can we try to? I try to tell them, but I think it goes in one ear and out the other. Honestly,
They need to go back to the time when they asked for your advice and listen to it. 'Cause that's how you get better as a wrestler.
Yeah, we had the privilege of coming up with guys that worked in the 80s, and we worked in the 90s. We worked with guys that worked in the 80s and worked in the 70s, and some of them even worked in the 60s and everything. And it wasn't nothing. We could go up and just pick their brain, and they would share this advice, and tell us. They would not only tell us what we're doing wrong, they would tell us how we can improve on that. They would offer up a solution to the problems we were having and everything. It just wasn't, hey, you suck.
Yeah. The thing was, if you said, Tracy, can you watch my match tonight and tell me and give me a grade, he'd be at the curtain waiting
That's
on
right.
you.
Yep.
And tell you.
Yep. And as soon as you come back, he's right there.
We had, we were, like I said, in Marshall County. There was 100 years of experience in 4 guys in the back. And one of the guys, we were taking picks together. One of the guys said, you young guys need to get over here and pick somebody's brain, because there's over 100 years of experience in 4 guys here. And I didn't get asked the first question.
They should have came over there and started talking to y'all. Yeah, y'all shouldn't even have to ask them. Hey, you young guys, come over here and start picking brains.
Johnny Lee,
because they can see.
do you know what I told them?
What you tell them?
The first time I see a leg slap or an arm slap in your match, when you get back here, I will slap the piss out of you. Bottom line. That's what I told them.
I want to know what's your thoughts other than that on the leg slap and all that.
Yeah, I don't like the leg slap.
If we're fighting, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Am I going to slap my leg when I knock a dog piss out of
Hell
you?
no.
No, you're not.
Exactly. Now,
There's one guy that should be able to get away with a leg slap these days, and that's Jack Vaughn.
Yep, that's the only
Because
one.
that's his whole gimmick.
And also, his whole gimmick is that he is a veteran now.
I love Jack Vaughn.
And I love when he calls out these new guys.
I love Jack Vaughn.
look, we're watching Bobby Green and Bobby J.
Yeah.
Yep.
Beautiful Bobby J is that guy right there. And, I mean, this was the second match on the card. And from Bobby Blade's match with Rowdy Red opening up,
Yep.
that's as good as your main event. Because,
Exactly.
I mean, honestly, it is.
I mean, look, but the crowd is into it.
Well,
from top to bottom.
the thing is, I don't know if I've said this on the air yet or not, but, you look at this and everything, the younger guys and everything might watch this and they'd be like, well, these guys aren't doing anything. Yeah, they are. They're telling a story. They're engaging the crowd. They're getting the crowd hyped up and everything, taking them on a roller coaster ride. And that's what wrestling should be. It should be a roller coaster ride where you go up the hill, you're going up the hill and you're working it up and you're getting excited and blah, blah, blah. And then you go down the hill and then, you kind of even out a little bit and then you're going back up the, so
That's
it's an up
right.
and down deal and everything.
Well, let me
more.
let you in on a little secret. The professional wrestling business is about entertaining those people.
Yep.
Not about entertaining yourself or the
Yep.
boys in the back.
Yeah.
It's about drawing that crowd, getting that crowd back.
Yep.
52 nights a year.
Yeah.
Christmas
Exactly.
night, Thanksgiving night, New Year's Eve. That's why we were there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Bottom
Because
line.
you're not supposed to be popping the boys side back or popping yourself.
Well-
You're supposed to be popping that crowd out there that's paid to see you tell a story and entertain them for at least 2 or 3 hours.
And brother, believe you me, they paid to come and see Randy
That's
Rex
right.
when I was in.
Hey,
They paid.
he ain't lying. That place was packed. Every time X was on the show, it was packed. That's why I always tell X that he is the Hulk Hogan of Kentucky, and I've
He
gone on
is.
record saying that and everything, because the thing is when you were brought into the MWA, you were eventually, if you were a heel, and X was a face. You were eventually going to work with X, and you knew you knew what the end result was going to be, but still, that.
What was that? What was the end result,
Well,
man?
the end result was you going over. You ain't laying down.
Yep.
Wait a minute. Hold up here. Hold on, Jay Lee. Hold on now, Bobby Blade. Let me tell you something, baby.
What?
I held the MWA heavyweight title more than anyone that ever wrestled for the MWA. Right?
Yeah.
Now there's some guys that say no, you didn't hold. I held it 19 times.
Yeah.
That means I got beat.
19 times.
Yep.
Hey. So yeah, don't give me that crap, man.
It was always a technicality, though. They'd strip it from you for some
No,
reason. You wouldn't lay down.
Hey, look, I'm looking at the light.
I can count on one hand the number of times that you've had a 3 count put on you.
I told Danny Fargo when we got later on in Sterling, I said, there's guys that I won't put over. I said, Ray the Bear Steele. Never! I'll never put him over, man. Big Al, I'll never put Big Al over.
Hey, you know who did go over Rated X one time? One time in my 33 years of doing this. Right here, I went over Rated X.
Whose idea was that?
That was yours.
Thank you.
Thanks.
How'd you beat him though?
I cheated, I'm sure. I think I hit you with the knucks or something, didn't I?
Oh, so he had 7 guys run out of the back, man. And then it's somebody in a big gorilla suit beating the piss out of me and all that's not.
But still.
Average
It
Bobby Blade.
took
But
20 guys to do it. What are you
but-
talking about?
But still, though,
That's
it's
not-
on video. I've got it on video. I pinned Rated X.
Hey, that's all that matters. That you got it on video proof.
That ain't nothing.
B Money, you a 4-time state champion, baby. 19 times.
19 times.
MWA heavyweight champion, brother.
That's right.
there.
That's right.
Hey,
Down,
no-
down, 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 down.
You are the Hulk Hogan of the NWA.
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
I do want to go on record right now and tell Bobby Blade, I do appreciate that. I appreciate you saying that, man, because there's a lot of guys now, and I don't know why. I mean, jealousy plays a big part
Yep.
in everything, and this ego and all that nonsense in our business. It does.
Yep.
But, and I'm like, man, if you were on the show with me, though, the good thing is you get to wrestle in front of a bunch of people.
Exactly.
Who wouldn't want to do that, man?
Yep.
You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
That's the whole point of wrestling is
Yeah,
wrestling
I mean-
in front and entertaining the crowd.
But, and I will say this, it wasn't just me. It was the whole show, man. Because we
Yep.
were the whole package. I don't
Yeah.
care.
Because there's no I in team.
Hey, I don't care what era it was, whether it was the Fargo, Doug Vines, Billy Marino.
Yeah.
When we first come into MWA, Dirty Chris Hayes, Ron Starr, old Dick Oley, baby.
Yeah.
Hey, tough, man. Those guys were tough. But you talk about teaching. They taught us so much stuff that, I mean, if you didn't learn from them, you were a blooming idiot, right?
Yep.
100%. I mean, the thing is, man, is I worked with Ron Starr a bunch of times, man, and every single time I went out to the ring with him, I learned something. I would go to the ring, not knowing anything, and we kiss all it is in the ring there, and phenomenal every single time,
Yes.
and it was easy.
Yeah,
Crush your-
I would run from them. I would absolutely. I'd go hide. Man. Yeah. And honestly, I've heard you guys the past few shows,
Yep.
Al and Donnie and Bear and the top 5 MWA babies, and I want to do that with you tonight. I
Okay.
want you to tell me who the top 5 babies were and who the top
Good
5
idea.
heels were.
Well, I'll tell you who number 1 is on both of them. It's you. That's no lie. That's not pumping his ego. That's not blowing his head up or anything like that. Right there, Rated X was the number 1 babyface of all time in the MWA. He was also the number 1 heel in the MWA at any given time, whatever side he was working as and everything. And that's not, I like you and everything, but that's not me kissing your butt. I don't have the chapstick out or anything like that.
Hey,
That's the truth.
Honestly, I think I was number 5 on the babies.
Really?
And the only reason I say that, Dale Mann was over.
Yeah.
Danny Fargo was over.
Yeah. I'll say this. You know how I call you the Hulk Hogan of Kentucky?
Yes.
I've also said, too, that Dale Mann is the Bruno Sammartino of Kentucky.
No doubt about it.
Danny Fargo was like the Jerry Lawler of you know what I'm saying? We had that caliber of talent, and it was top to bottom. You could have the opening match guy that's doing a job every week. Could work, could do anything, could talk. It was great. All the way up to the guys in the main event. Everybody from top to bottom was fantastic, man.
Hey, if you ever watched a Rowdy Red and Chris Michaels match.
Oh, man.
Or if you watched a Bobby Blade and Sean Casey match.
Oh, dude.
Or if you watched a Dirty Chris Hayes and any of those guys I just named, you couldn't get any better, man.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if I was fourth or fifth on the show or sixth or whatever, you had to watch the show because you had to step it up, man. You had to bring it.
Yep. I got to say something here before I lose the comment here on the page. We were talking about you being the Hulk Hogan of the MWA or of the Kentucky Wrestling.
Yeah.
Calamity Jane gets on here and says, "That don't work for Rated X, brother."
And Crusher Bones said, Crusher Bones' son, Triple Ball, said, Crusher Bones happened to get one of those lucky pinfalls over at X.
Hey, Crusher Bones, former USWF heavyweight champion, you in line.
Dude,
Yep.
Crusher Bones is an unsung hero in Kentucky wrestling, I think, dude. He was great. He was great.
Last night we actually saw him inside the opening match on one of these cards.
Yeah.
And you see that the fans were into Crusher Bones.
Oh, look here. The Hillbillies, Bobby J, Rick Gibson.
Yeah.
We must have a big 8-man here.
There's
It's gonna be a hell of a
Rowdy
match.
Look at
Red.
the crowd, though. Look at the crowd. Look how deep.
This
Yep.
was every show.
This right here shows you just how big the MWA had. Even when it's a regular crowd, it's still a big crowd.
This is a lumberjack match. This
Oh,
might.
my God.
Look
Who is
at
that
that.
dude, brother?
Oh my God!
Look.
And look right
X.
next to him. This I think this might be Billy Marino and Doug Vines, maybe, in a lumberjack.
I hope I cheated. I just hope I helped Doug win this match. That's all I'm going to say.
Zodiac said that Dirty Chris Hayes was his first match,
Was it really?
his very first one.
That's awesome. I love Zodiac, man.
Yeah, Zodi, then you had it made, brother. Dirty Chris was your first match. You had it made.
You know, Dirty
That's
Chris
right.
Dirty Chris was a lot of people's first match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that.
Yeah.
There is a reason for that.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
There's a reason he was a lot of people's first match. There's a reason you were main event a lot of times. There's a reason why I was in the opener a lot of times. You know, a lot of people, they get offended when you put them in that opening match, but that's a badge of honor, I think, you know, because you're setting the tone and setting the pace for the rest of the show.
Exactly, and what people don't understand.
Look, God, look at that crowd, though. They're
That is
panning.
a huge crowd.
Yeah.
You folks can't see it at home, but they're panning the building there at Georgetown, and they're probably 10 rows deep, full.
Exactly.
Yep, there's Doug Vines.
There's Doug.
Doug
Golly.
was good, man. The thing was you remember ICW, International Championship Wrestling, ran by the Poffos? A lot of the guys that worked for the MWA, once the ICW closed the doors, they all went to the MWA. Majority of them went to the MWA, and then the others went to Memphis and stuff like that. But a lot of the guys, the older guys, I don't want to say older guys because, you know, the more experienced guys at this time all had worked for the Poffos and ICW. You know?
That's right.
This time right here, while all this is going on, you see Doug in the ring. There's referee Timmy Griffin. Phenomenal referee. Here's the thing about MWA. The referees were awesome. The guys were awesome.
Yep.
The crowd was awesome. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
We had nothing. And there's, look, our Fargo running his yap.
Yeah.
So this is 96. This is when Fargo was running it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because Dale sold it to Fargo in 95, mid-95.
And my family actually was setting up rings for Danny Fargo at one point.
I've heard you say that before.
That's how I know.
Hey, you tell your family that they didn't do a very good job. Because I've had so many surgeries off that ring right there, man. No, I'm just playing.
I mean, that ring is a pretty step one.
No, dude, there wasn't anything. There was nowhere I would rather be than in that ring.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Exactly.
Once that ring right there was used, it was used by Cliff Lilly, it was used by Dale Mann, it was used by Danny Fargo, it was used by Chris Hayes. Chris used it all the way up until about 2005 maybe, and then the ring, it couldn't be fixed anymore. You know, it just every week, something would happen to
Timmy
it.
could have fixed that ring. I guarantee you Timbo could have fixed it.
But he ended up going to Mike Samples and getting a brand new ring and everything, and it was a nicer ring and everything, and a lot easier to bump in. I'll tell you that.
Well, that was a wooden ring. That ring right there was wood with
Yeah.
steel cross beams. in
Yep.
it. But it was a wood frame.
All right, today's ring announcer, Aaron Rose, said, "I would have loved the opportunity to ring announce during that era. I was still in elementary school during that time."
Aaron, next time I see you
That's
down there in the
like
mountains, I'm going to hit you in your mouth for just saying that we're old. That's all I'm going to say.
Aaron was in elementary. Aaron was in elementary school, and X was already in his mid-50s then.
Hey, and I was over, though, brother. I was over.
That's
Hey,
right.
Check out. Okay, that's Billy Marino, Stallion Billy Marino, right there. That belt.
That's a wrestler right there.
Yeah, he was awesome. That's the belt that he's got on right there is the MWA heavyweight title. And the thing is it wasn't much to look at. It was just a brown strap. It looked like a trophy shop belt and everything. But hey,
It looks
That's
good
what
to
it
me.
was.
the thing is that those belts like that, they had more meaning than the replica belts and everything, or anything like that people were using, years
the
later.
lineage.
That's right.
Yeah, the lineage was
in
amazing.
That belt is phenomenal. I mean,
Exactly.
you're talking Dale Mann. You're talking Copperhead.
Yeah.
I mean, how many guys?
Talking about the 19 times.
Yep.
But yeah,
Yep.
there's only one, baby, 19 times.
That's a beautiful
MWA
belt.
champion, that was me right there.
Dale Man, Copperhead, Hitman Tony had it. Back to Dale Man, 1,000 years. Fargo had it. You had it.
Yeah, it was.
Tracy Smothers. Did Tracy have it? Tracy had it, didn't he? Wolfie had it.
I know Wolfie D had it.
Yeah.
Tracy, I think, beat me for it too.
Henry Shaw said that ring was stiff.
Who?
Henry Shaw. About that ring right there.
Oh, yeah.
That ring. Is,
Aaron Rose says, "See you on the 17X. I'm gonna whoop that ass."
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. You,
He
hey,
didn't put that. I'm just starting
but,
out. We're getting X. We're getting X back.
Hey,
in the
don't
ring.
get me wrong.
Here's a
Yeah.
highest honor too. Joe
Hey.
Shad said that Crush Your Bones was on TV with Vic wearing your boots.
Yeah. He was wearing my boots and my tights, and he was wearing Jimmy's. No, wait a minute. Hold on. I got that wrong. He was wearing my boots and he was wearing Jimmy's tights on WWF TV.
Yes.
And then on WCW TV, everything that he was wearing on that against Barry Windham and the One Man Gang was all my stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, because the only thing that he came to me and he said all he had was the Crusher Bones gear at the time. They wouldn't let him use that, on squash matches on TVs.
Hey, brother. Hey, Bones, phenomenal.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He really
phenomenal.
was.
Hey, but he was in a tag team. Blade, what was they were the
Graveyard Shift. It was him and Super Stud.
Super Stud. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
was
Mike Perkins.
okay. Who?
Mike Perkins.
Do you know I looked all night last night for the Patriot and never one time saw him? I saw this big beat dude sitting over here in this chair, but I don't know who that was.
That was
I kept looking-
California
I was
dude.
expecting
Is that the
Patriot-
dude?
That was the California-
That was the California dude.
Yeah, y'all didn't
man.
even know what you had
Oh
here.
my God.
I know, right? But that was cool because we had Dirty Chris Hayes and then we had the
Phenomenal.
Patriot.
Both of those guys.
Yep.
If you couldn't learn, that's the thing, man. We were so privileged. I'll tell you right now, Blade and myself were wrestling for
UWF.
UWF.
Yep.
United Wrestling Federation.
Yep.
All right. For some reason, we were in Paris on a Sunday afternoon. You remember that?
Yep.
And who shows up but Danny Fargo and Dirty Chris Hayes on our show?
Nice.
And we go down to, we did Jackson, we did Hazard, Harlan, and Fargo and Hayes worked a few of those shows with us. I know Danny was in Jackson, I know, because I was a heel down there, and my God, I didn't think I was going to make it out. And a dude up in Hazard, we was at the National Guard Armory, dude in Hazard, I come walking out, and he's sitting there and got a pretty little wife next to him and 3 little blonde-headed kids, man, all stair-step. And I looked at him, and I said, let me tell you something, punk, right now. You better take good care of my girlfriend and my kids, or I will beat you to death. This dude goes out to get his gun, man.
Oh.
He goes to get his gun and slides back under the door, and the state police throw him up against, hook him up, and take him out. I was like, oh my God.
Hey, I'll tell you what, man, back in the day and everything, and I tell the younger guys today and everything about these riots that we used to be in. We used to be on full-scale riots like multiple times. You know, it was a regular occurrence. And they look at you like you got three heads and everything, like they don't understand how, you know, there could be a riot at a wrestling show. I mean, it was a different time, man.
Yeah,
Hustler Rip Rogers told me one night we were at Estill County Fair. Do you remember that? Me and you against Jeff Rowe and Jed. Do you remember that?
I think so.
And I said, I want all you rednecks. They said, go out there and work the mic. And so they give me the mic, and I said, I want all you rednecks to look up, look to your left, look to your right. I guarantee you're going to see somebody you kin to, because everybody in Estill County is inbred, baby.
Was that the night we had like 4,000 people at the fair?
We shut the carnival
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Yes, the Midway shut down. Everybody was at wrestling. Blade and I were in there wrestling, Jeff Rowe and Jed, and the crowd when I said that, they start coming out of the stands and gather. They were like 10 on all four sides of the ring, 10 deep.
Yeah.
They were just wanting to beat us.
Yeah.
Rip told us when we got to the back, he said, good job, brother. Good job.
That's how wrestling used to be.
Hey, state police said, we got to get you out of here, man.
There was one time I was working. One time I was working for Larry D, and this was in 04, and it was PTW in Georgetown after MWA was gone, and Larry was running the convention center. There was a guy that would come to the shows, and his name was Jody. I don't know anything else about him other than his name was Jody, and he was an alcoholic. And he would always be, at the shows, and he'd always be drunk. Well, I was coming around the ring one time, and he spits on me and then tells everybody that I spit on him. And then the next thing you know is they're all standing up. I'm yelling at them.
Soup bone.
I'd
have give him a soup bone.
I'm yelling at him and everything, and then all of a sudden he gets on the payphone, because this is before cell phones were prominent.
Yep.
And he calls his family, and of the street that the convention center was on in Georgetown, there's one way out this way, one way out this way, and you can't go any other way. Okay. Yep. He called his family to come up there. They all brought guns. They blocked both ends of the street and everything, and then they come to the parking lot and meet and everything. Larry's like, "Stay in the back. Don't go back out there." And I'm like, "I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna get ready to F this dude up." And he's like, "No, just stay back here. Stay back here. We've got the police called. All this and everything." So the police show up, and they go and they get the people out from both ends of the road. They said, "Yeah, everybody had guns with them." And then the Jody and the people that he was with at the building had guns, and the people that showed up in the parking lot, they all had guns. They were going to kill me. And they had to get the police there to get all of them out, and then the police had to escort me to the county line and everything. I've never been so proud of myself to get to that county line. I'll be like, I just had a police escort out of town. That was awesome.
Isn't it?
That was awesome.
It is, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Hazard, you remember that time in Hazard when Terry went back with that chair? Terry Allen went back with the chair and hit the girl by accident.
Oh, yes.
And then
yes.
And I'm out there with Terry, and Todd Morton's out there, and then all of a sudden here comes everybody on top of us and everything. We're trying to fight, and I'm trying to get back to the dressing room, and here comes the cops and deputy dogs there and everything, and the cops are there, and they threatening to shut the show down, and Deputy Dog talked them into not shutting the show down so we could continue the show. I'm losing out of breath.
It happens, though. It's excitement.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it was awesome. Jackson, Kentucky, I was in the middle of a riot with Tracy Smothers.
God bless his soul.
Yeah. We're sitting here fighting. Me and Tracy are back to back with kendo sticks, swinging them at people, trying to get them away from us, just so we can get out of the building.
And kendo sticks do not feel good
either. Oh, dude, it was awesome. The younger kids nowadays and everything, they think that you're lying when you tell them this stuff, and you're not.
But
and it's all the truth. Yeah.
Hey. Back then, the riots were occurrence that would happen all the time in wrestling.
Yep.
I planned that thing that Chris talked about last night. That's why I asked the question on there. I planned that for like 4 or 5 weeks, just adding stuff to it. How can we make it better? Blah, blah, blah. And I told Danny, I said, he didn't have Tracy booked. I said, you got to bring Tracy in. He said, Jimbo, I got to advertise Tracy if I bring. I said, no, man, you can't. I said, all this needs, I said, I promise you this is going to work. It worked. because he didn't advertise Tracy. Tracy was in the back. Nobody knew he was there. When I was a babyface at that time, and on fire in Georgetown, on fire. And when we did the turn on Chris, we had a belt made up. I had a belt made up for him, and the fans went and had this plaque made. They spent their money on this plaque, right? Little wrestling guy on it.
Yep.
Picture of Dirty Chris Hayes.
Yeah.
So I hand him the plaque first. He's showing the people the plaque, and they're crying, man. And I'm like Jimmy Swaggart on the mic. I'm milking it for everything it's worth. And they were crying, you know.
Yep.
And oh God, look here! I just hit Billy Marino upside the head right there. Woo. Anyway, so you know, I give Chris that plaque. He shows the people. He turns around, gives me the plaque back, and I hand him the belt. I had it under a towel, and I told him, I said, "Brother, you're not leaving here empty-handed. You're leaving here as a champion." Well, the people were crying, carrying on, all that good stuff, and so somebody, what is going on here?
Is someone trying to call in?
What?
Oh, we got a call on you.
Hello?
Yee.
Who's this?
It's Jey Uso.
Apparently.
Florida man Cam.
Oh, geez, what's going on?
Hey, you cut me off right in the middle of my story, dude. What's wrong with you?
Hey, listen, I didn't know you were in the middle of your story. Heck,
That's why you
You
watch.
ought to be listening then. Hey, you ought to be listening instead of talking is what you ought to be doing.
You know what? You're right. You're right. I give you that.
So anyway, I give Chris let me finish my story part, man. So I give Chris the belt. He hands me the plaque. So as soon as he does his all the way deal around to me, dude, I hit him with that plaque, and that little man on that plaque goes flying out in the crowd.
Yeah.
Well, the guys that made that plaque are sitting right on this corner every Sunday night. Well, they're ticked because I tear their plaque up.
Yeah.
And I wave Tracy out, and we're putting the stew to him. I mean, we're beating Chris up like a dog. You know, we had all the guys. Billy Marino, like he said last night, Billy come out, paid homage to him. Fargo paid homage to him. Everybody that was on the show that night come out and said something about Chris. And, man, when we did that, those people went nuts. Tracy and I had to fight on this end of this building to get up on that stage. And when we got up there, Tracy got hit. Some guy drilled Tracy that night. They threw every chair on the back end of this area up on that stage.
Holy shit.
They emptied
Yeah.
that whole end out.
Yeah.
And Patty, I go back down the steps. Patty Powell sitting back there going, X, they're going to kill us. They're going to kill us, X. They're going to kill us. It was hilarious. I was like, Patty, they can't get back here, honey. Chill out.
They was trying to come through the curtain and come
They
in
were.
the doors.
They were.
We had entrance door on the hill side, entrance door on the babyface side, and then we had a curtain up here that was on the stage. And they was trying to come in through the curtains. They was trying to come in through the doors, both sides of the doors and everything. They was ready to fight somebody, kill somebody.
Yes.
You know, the thing is, before I forget about saying this and everything, the things that worked so well for the MWA was all of the angles had a personal feel to it,
Yeah,
you know?
You made it mean something.
Yeah, like
Exactly.
I don't know if this is the match or not, but there was one night. Oh gosh, that was
There you
still.
go.
Burrito hit every one of us
Yeah.
out there. What is going on?
I don't know if this is the match or not, but there was one night that Doug Vines took a plastic bag. You remember this? And he tried to suffocate Billy.
Yes.
And then people were crying and
Yes.
they were trying to kill Doug. Oh my gosh, it was great.
Nice back body drop by.
Yeah. They had a paint a coward painted match.
Yeah.
And Billy got painted yellow down his back. It was, Doug reversed
Yep.
the deal on him and did it to him, and but it was crazy.
Oh, there it goes right there.
Oh my gosh.
I just killed him. I just killed Billy
Billy Marino's down.
Look, 1, 2, 3. Yes, Doug Vine wins again.
Maybe he should have thought about that before he attacked you on the outside.
All right, party man, what's up?
I just saw that, like, that Jimmy Walls and Bobby Blade is on there, and I just wanted to thank the two men that, have always been giving me advice throughout my whole career in the wrestling industry.
You see that? Are you looking?
Helping me,
You see that?
helping me
Right?
find myself.
Do you see this?
Helping me find who I am. And,
Do you see his-
Do you see what I'm holding up? Party man, shut up. I'm trying to get you over here and you won't work with me. Jesus Christ. You see that?
Yeah.
All right, that is a MWA Hall of Fame. Bobby Blade's got one. I've got one. Danny Fargo got one that night. Dale Mann got one that night. Roger Ruffin got one that night. Who else?
Dale Bass.
And Dale Bass. Now listen, party man, you're just getting your feet wet in this business. Listen, I'm going to give all the young guys, I'm going to tell you right now, listen, we're not trying to hurt you by telling you stuff. We're trying to help you.
Yep.
You know, it was like Larry said last night. Nobody wanted to listen to Larry because Larry was telling you, slow down, don't do this, don't do that, da da da.
He's right.
He's exactly right.
Exactly.
It means more. It means more. I promise it does.
And like Donnie Green said, he wished that when he was younger, he listened to Larry more, because then maybe he could have been wrestling more.
Yeah.
Superfly, you know what was wrong with like Little Donnie and Bear and Al?
What was wrong?
They come up watching Rated X and they wanted to be me, man. That's the deal.
Hey, I ain't got to blow up his ego because he's doing it himself.
When I was born,
Look there.
when I was born, Dad
him
handed me
punches.
to Rated X
I love those
and had
punches.
Rated X sign my forehead. Ain't that happened, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Jesus Christ.
Look at Fargo. Fargo was on fire right
Oh,
there.
my God.
Yeah,
look.
he was.
I was like, get back to the back, Doug. They're killing you. Look,
Hey, look
look
at
Blade's got him, running him up the stairs. He fell down.
Hey, that's smart though, because
Hey.
he's selling the effects of what happened.
There's Nutty. Look
There's
at
that
Nutty.
house. Yep.
That's before he started wrestling. Who's that? That's me. That's Bobby Green, Jay Asher, Rated X. Who's that? Ralph Green.
Ralph Green,
And Jesse.
baby.
Yep.
Big Jesse, the bodyguard.
Yes.
Yeah, shout out to Jesse. R.I.P., man.
Hey, Donnie and Bobby Green, right here is y'all's namesake, Ralph Green. Ralph Green is part of the Green family now. I'm just going to say that.
Hey, Johnny Gunther said that he was there that night
Oh, yeah?
with his family.
Oh, yeah, Johnny was there. Yeah, Johnny was there that night of the riot. Yeah, he didn't help out either.
Yeah, Johnny
all I'm
Gunther
gonna
should
say.
help out.
Look at Jim Chadwick, how young he was there.
Yeah.
They chased me down 75. They had ball bats out the window chasing me on the way home. God's honest truth. I look over and some dude's got his ball bat hanging out and a hammer, and I pull up my 38 and I'm like, y'all want to play? Here we go.
Man, these days were the best, man.
Oh, it's awesome.
And these young guys need to believe it.
Yeah.
Riots used to happen all the time, just as guys like Jerry Lawler when he's got a knife being pulled on.
Yeah.
Or Jim Cornette had to fight off someone that had a knife.
Jimmy, let me ask you this.
But I was just calling because I just wanted to see if there was like any more advice y'all could give me. You know, I just
Listen. Don't talk. Listen. That's the biggest part of advice I can give you right now, man.
Yep. Especially this early in the game, listen to everybody. Everybody that's older than you and that has a lot more experience than you,
Just
listen to all of them. All advice might not be good, but eventually you'll put two and two together, and you'll be able to
Yep.
you'll be able to
You'll get
make
it.
it your own. Yeah, you'll get it. Yeah,
You'll get
exactly like he said. It took me forever to finally get it. I started working in '91, okay, but I didn't get it until like '97. So it took me 6 years before I finally started putting the pieces together and, painting the picture and, and putting the puzzle together, and stuff like that. Once 97 came, boom, everything clicked. And I finally understood what I was supposed to be doing. I'm not supposed to be out there, going 100 miles an hour, bumpity, bumping all over the place. Oh golly.
Oh, man.
Doug just hit Jim Chadwick. That's awesome. But I'm
That's
supposed,
awesome.
because
Yes.
I could go out there and I could do
They sold it great.
I could do 1,000 spots and everything would look real good and everything. But the crowd might not be making a noise. If that crowd's not making a noise, but you're doing all these spots, the crowd's not making a noise, you're not doing your job. You go out there and you could work an arm the entire time, but you can engage this crowd and have the crowd. Have the crowd up in arms and everything, and ready to riot. You did a good job there. The younger people and everything, they see that as working lazy. That's not working
That's not
lazy.
More is less.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Less is more.
Less is more is the best way
It's,
to do it.
I
Yep.
mean, honestly.
Yep.
Because that's what the old school way of wrestling was. You worked less, you got the crowd invested. And it also saved you a whole lot of...
The thing is, you
Right.
work the people. You got to
Yep.
work the people. If
Yep.
you're out there just entertaining yourself, you're out there for no reason.
Yeah.
Yep.
Work the people.
If you're cutting a promo and you're talking at the people, it's not going to work. You got to talk to the people.
Yep.
And talk to them instead of at them and everything.
That's why Bob Blade was one of the best at promos.
He's welcome.
Toot toot.
He's welcome,
No,
Johnny. Superfly. He's welcome.
Rated X is a liar. He's a delusional liar.
I taught him everything I know about working that mic. Hey, and another thing too, I'm gonna be down in Morgan County Fair on the 17th.
Yep.
AMW's gonna be down there doing a fair show. Kyle Maggard. So Kyle, shut up. I'll give you a plug here. You owe me at least $30 for that one. So no, seriously, good talent down there at AMW. It's gonna be an awesome show. I think he's got in the main events like a 4-way tag deal going on. So Stan will be down there. Kyle will be down there. I think Chris Michaels is going to be down there. So it's going to be off. It'll be off the hook down there.
Yeah, let me plug EWA in Richmond this weekend too. I'm going to be
this Saturday.
Yeah, I'm coming back this Saturday. My first show back
missed
since.
you.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I've had a rough couple of months. My father died on June the 8th and everything, so today is 2 months today that he's been gone. And then I'm having a rough time with that and everything, but I think it's finally time to start getting back into the swing of things. So I am going to be in Richmond for the Elite Wrestling Alliance at the Telford YMCA this Saturday night. So come on out. Come see a good show. Some of my favorite people now to watch and everything are actually working for the EWA. I really like. This is what I was going to ask you earlier too. I found some people that I'm a fan of their work these days. Gaston LaRue, I really like.
Yep.
Ethan Heyer, I really like. Is there anybody that you see? I like Chris Crow. Of course, Jordan Cage. I love Jordan Cage. And
he's your bestest friend in the whole wide world.
Yes, absolutely. Jordan Cage does not get enough credit because he works hard. He tries to have the best match on the card. A lot of times he does. But he thinks he's the worst in the world, and he's awesome.
I'd love to see Jordan get out a little more.
Yeah.
I'd love to see him go. I would have loved to have had him on some of the fair stuff
Yeah.
he did. Love to have had him.
Yep.
I'm sure Kyle would like to have him sometimes down there.
Well, he sits there and he tells me, he said, you tell me I'm so good and everything. If I'm so good, then why am I not working more? And I'm like, were you reaching out to anybody? And he's like, no. And well, that's why.
He worked for me at Kings Mountain when I first started USWF back. He
Yeah.
came down there and did that show. And I tried to rebook him, and it was like, I don't know, it was like a crawdad went back in his hole.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Dude, me and Jordan Cage, I manage Jordan Cage,
he's
and
good.
we are incredible together as a package. You
Yeah, you are.
I'll come out and I'll cut a heel promo on the crowd and blah blah blah.
The promo that you
know,
said that you didn't think you could cut anymore.
Yeah. Well, I talk about 400-pound fat sweaty women and all that stuff and everything.
Yep.
Get them all
And
heated.
the whole about the mama stickiness.
Yeah, sticking it to your mom and all that stuff, and then I bring Jordan Cage out. By the time that Jordan Cage comes out, I've already projected all of my heat that I got on him, so he gets it and everything. And then I accompany him to the ring and everything. And it's we work well as a package together and everything. And I really enjoyed my time working with Jordan Cage.
Ethan Heyer's good.
Dude, Ethan Heyer's amazing.
Chris Crow is good.
Yep. Gaston.
Yeah, I haven't been around Gaston that much. I think he worked 2 shows for us. Didn't have him, a lot.
Yeah.
But what I remember seeing of him, he's good.
Yeah, he's excellent, man. He's got that. He's by the book, Gaston LaRue,
Yep.
and he's got the book of wrestling and everything, and it's great.
Yeah,
That's a great gimmick because
he
he works
was
the
in a
crowd.
tag. He did that as a tag too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, with one of his partners. I don't
Yep.
know.
He had them having the book with him, and he'd be talking about there's no one like Gaston, and
Yeah,
the guys got the book and everything. They
Yeah.
cheat with it.
Yeah.
It's great.
I just wish that like these guys had the opportunity to be around those guys that we're
Yeah.
watching,
Yeah.
because the knowledge, the wealth of knowledge that we got, and that I try to give it back.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't give it back to somebody that don't want to listen. That's the
Exactly.
thing.
The thing is I'll offer up advice. If somebody asks me what did I do wrong, I'll be straight up with them and I'll tell them what they did wrong. But I'll also offer a solution to what they did wrong, and say, hey, instead of doing this, why don't you try this? Instead of doing this way, why don't you try it this way? And usually it's the correct advice and everything.
Exactly.
So
That's the way to do it, though. They need veterans to help give them advice so that they can learn from any mistakes they may have made.
Yep.
I don't understand why there's young guys that won't go up to them whenever they see 4 of them together.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Always be willing to learn.
Yep. Like
Jeez.
Party Man did. Party Man just,
That's the
asked
man
for
right
advice and all
there.
that stuff. So
That's
we
the man.
appreciate stuff like that.
That's one thing that I can say
Yeah.
about Party Man. When we brought him onto here, he wanted to be a professional wrestler. We told him, if you're going to be a professional wrestler, you need to start hanging out with people that know what they're talking about.
Yep.
Listen and learn. Keep your mouth shut so that you can take that knowledge that they're giving you and let it sit with you so that you can understand fully and learn.
Yeah, let it permanent.
Exactly.
You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? Just
Yep.
Yeah, it's 'cause
marinate, and when guys give you advice, listen to it.
Yeah.
Don't
They're,
just-
they're not trying to insult you.
yeah.
that's the one reason why I wish that Tracy Smothers was around, because that's one guy that had a wealth of knowledge that he would make sure that you understood, because he'd sit there and he'd tell you what you did wrong, what you need to do to make it better. And if you had that chance to learn from him, then you were set, because Tracy Smothers was a guy that had been around.
Yep.
Tracy Smothers was awesome.
Yes, he was.
Tracy was. Ain't
That's-
that right, Wade?
Exactly.
Wade. he called Blade Wade.
Yeah. That's my boy Wade.
That's my boy Wade.
I love Wade. He's my boy.
Oh my God! Who is
Oh,
this
that's
guy?
big. That's Big Donnie.
Big
Oh,
Donnie
there he
Green.
Oh, you're about to get your butt kicked.
I want to smoke him. What are you talking about? Look,
No, you're getting ready to get beat up.
no. Look,
Ready?
look. I make Bass take my vest. Get off my vest, dude. What's wrong with you?
That's the way to do it, though. You're working the crowd and you're working the referee as well, and that's investing the crowd
Hey,
in
let
what
me
you're doing.
let me tell you about this spot that he used to do. Every single show for 20 plus, maybe 30 years. Yeah, exactly. He would back up. He'd be like, "Hold on, I'm about to take my glasses," and it would be 10 minutes before he get these glasses off. And he'd work the crowd this entire time. Then finally, he'd take the glasses off, and he'd look around. And he'd be like, "My God, you people are ugly!" And every single
Sunday
time.
night.
Every single time, them people would be ready to kill him over something so simple, and they would get so worked up and everything. They'd be like, "F you, rated X." And then didn't they slash your tires one night?
They did, yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. I went out back in my truck, and somebody had cut one of my tires, and I was like, "Really, dude? Really?"
I mean, back then, when you worked the crowd was invested, and there was going to be someone that's going to be wanting to try and test you. Because to them, you might as well be a Billy Badass, because they're going to be trying you no matter what.
Yep.
Yeah, look here. Time out, baby. It's time
Yep.
out time.
That's working the crowd right
Yeah.
there.
Oh, John Bullard said 2 great legends right there. I
That's
appreciate
right.
that, man.
Yeah, thank you, John.
Yeah, John Bullard's awesome, dude. for
Chicago
real.
Championship Wrestling,
Yep.
shout out.
And he ran PWF here,
Yep.
Pro Wrestling Freedom in Kentucky, Corbin, Kentucky, and it changed the business.
He did Elvis for me. In
Yeah, he was
Kentucky.
Johnny Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did the Elvis thing, yeah.
That's the one that Sean knows him by, Johnny
here.
Rock. Look at you're selling to the fans. Y'all ain't even throwing a move yet.
Oh, no.
Y'all just working the crowd.
Yeah, ain't no need locking up yet.
Exactly.
I got a lot to say.
Now y'all finally lock up.
Oh, but look here. I threw
Oh.
him like a rag doll,
That's
Jack.
right. He got
Look at
You
thrown.
didn't have no shot.
Hey, I tell you what, man, Donnie could
The
could
best.
go,
God,
man.
he was good.
Yeah, he was.
He was so good. Easy. When he wanted to be.
Yeah.
When he didn't want to be, he beat the crap out of
Yep.
Me and Jeff found that out one night.
I remember one time we was doing something. We was doing something in the ring, and he hits the ring, and he takes his belt off, and he just starts. He starts wearing us all out and everything,
Yes.
and we're like, "Oh gosh, it's a work, it's a work."
No, him and Bobby beat me and Jeff with those belts for like 3 weeks straight. Beat us like dogs. I said, "What did I steal from you, man? What is going on here?" Oh God!
They did that to their sons.
That's one thing as a fan that I've seen because I like to go back and watch some of the older wrestling, and just the intensity of just like a lockup compared to like today
Yeah.
is completely different.
Yeah.
Like there was 2 guys that looked like they wanted to murder each other.
That's right, like 2 gladiators going at it.
It was a fight, man.
Exactly.
It was a fight.
It was a
And the
different.
punches were better than
Oh,
what they
my
are
God.
today.
What? Oh,
Oh, gosh, I
kicking.
guarantee you that was stiff.
yes, it was. He just hip tossed me and kicked me, and I went out on the between the second and middle row.
And now you're working the crowd. You take your time. to
No,
get the
I'm
crowd.
going. Please, to God, don't kick me anymore. What is wrong with you?
I mean, you were working with Donnie, and he liked
Look.
to
Oh,
be
oh,
getting
oh,
just a
oh.
little bit stiffer.
He tried to grab me by the hair, man. What's going on?
He's trying to fight unfair.
I swear, though, man, it was guys like him.
Yeah.
It was guys like Ron Starr,
Yep.
Dickie,
Yep.
Doug, Danny. I mean, man, we had we had the whole show. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
We had the beating, knocking guys. We had the guys that could fly. We had the good guys that could wrestle. We had the whole package. The whole show was bad.
The thing was, it was based around Memphis style and everything, and
Yes.
Memphis style is, they always said that in Jerry Jarrett's office, he's got the thing up there that says personal issues draw money. Everything that we did here was a personal issue,
Exactly, because that's what it was. That's what wrestling's supposed to be. You're
Yeah.
telling a story.
And
You
we
want
were,
the people to want to see you.
I
Yeah.
don't know who the heel is in this match, though. Do you?
I think you were both heels.
You think so?
Yeah.
I
A
think
heel versus a
Hey,
heel.
you remember when Fargo did that Battle of the Brutes tournament? It was all heels in the tournament?
Yes.
Yeah, that was awesome, dude. And it came down to me and Angel in the finals. And the thing was me and Angel, we were doing a three-way tag team, like a Freebird style tag team called NDX. It was Near Death Experience, NDX. And it was me, Angel, and Suicide. Not the Suicide that's on TNA, obviously. This is a bigger guy. We were all wearing like the Raven grunge
Yep.
gear and all that stuff. But it was an all-heel tournament. And I don't know why he started doing it, but he did. He just started doing it. It was all heels. And it came down to me and Angel in the finals, and Suicide was the referee. And we went out there and we were doing like midget spots and stuff like that, and it was amazing. And the crowd was loving it. And then once we finally started throwing down, I mean, we were knocking the crap out of each other for real, and well, not for you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
laying them in, but
Yeah, I didn't want no part of that.
yeah, but we ended up, I ended up going over, and in the end of it and everything, won the tournament, and at the end of it, we all came together, put the personal issue aside, came back as a three-man, Freebird style team,
Yep.
and there was not a person sitting down in that entire crowd. It was
Exactly.
standing room on, standing ovation.
Here's another thing, guys. If you're out there healing, don't be scared to be a coward.
Exactly.
Don't be scared to be a coward, man. And then when the baby turns his back, you glom him.
Exactly.
It's simple.
The worse of
Exactly,
a
it's
person,
simple.
the worse of a person that you are as a heel, the better off you're going to be in the business.
Look,
Never be afraid to carry and then attack your opponent when they least expect it.
Yep.
I
That
sold
works.
so many gimmicks
Golly.
in that building
Yeah.
right there. T-shirts, pictures, tapes, you name it. If I would go to the back, Fargo would be like, Jimbo, how's your yard sale doing? Rocking, brother, it's rocking.
Hey, I seen how he was doing as a babyface selling gimmicks. Well, I turned babyface eventually. I tried to undercut him on VHS tapes. You remember that?
I do, yeah. He's a punk. That's all I got to say about that.
And look at the crowd is
Look.
after that match with you and Donnie.
Yeah.
That crowd are still on their feet. They're still excited. To
I
see
think
you.
it's intermission time now. So.
Yep.
Uh-oh. We're
And
coming
now we're back with a packed house again.
Yeah, it's...
Wonder who's coming out this time.
I don't know. But I tell you what, though, man, the thing was these days, man, like I said, it was Memphis style. So there wasn't a whole lot of 100-mile-an-hour working, and 8,000 spots and stuff like that. But there was a ton of emotion every week, man. Every week, no matter who was there, no matter who was booked on the show, the crowd was always there and they were always into it and everything. And like I said, it was more than just Georgetown. We worked other places too. We did loops and stuff like that. We always end up in Georgetown on the last night, on Sunday nights and everything. It was amazing.
We lost Doug and we lost Billy Marino there pretty close together. And I thought, man, we're going to, losing these two guys. And I'm sure it was a money deal with both of them. I'm very certain of that. I don't know, but I'm just guessing. And I thought, man, losing these two guys is really going to hurt. But you find out in this business, that there's not one guy in it that's irreplaceable. Everybody can be replaced.
Well, the thing is we lost Doug and we lost Billy. That was a big hit. But they were almost immediately replaced with Prince Justice, a.k.a. the Monster Abyss, Wildcat Chris Harris, Rob the Bomb, who else?
Suicide
Angel.
Tiny Timmy.
Yeah. Yeah, they was almost immediately replaced with those guys. So, I mean, you know, we really didn't lose any steam at all. And if we did lose any steam, we built it right back up immediately.
Yeah, it came right back because, I mean, you're talking Abyss, who was 6'6" and over 300.
Yeah.
Cat was built like a Greek god.
I love Cat.
Fargo told me one time, and I told him, I said, man, I'm worried about, because we lost Doug, we lost Billy, at that time, Big Bobby, Big Donnie had scaled back, wasn't working with us. And I'm like, man, that's a serious hit, Hoss Cat. What are we going to do here? And he said, oh, Jimbo, you're my Jerry Lawler. And he said, Wildcat and Rob are my Bill Dundee. He said, as long as I got you three baby faces, we're firing on all cylinders. And we didn't fall off. I mean, honestly.
Jed's hat.
My God. What in this world?
Wait a minute, is this the match he lost his bibs in?
This could be. Because, it was Rod Starr and Dirty Chris with Mr. Asher. So.
Oh, I hope this is it.
Hey, guys, the reason why Jed's not here, he had to work.
Yeah, he's a fireman, and they had something going on there.
Hey, I'm completely retired from everything, so all I do is sit home and play video games. It's awesome.
You know,
it is.
I turned into a mechanic, man.
Did you?
Yeah. I put a rear end in a recliner every day.
That's awful.
Every day. Where's the bear? Well, I want to know where Bear's at.
Oh, he's busy.
Where's Ray the Bear
eating
Steele?
Chips and drinking and probably watch TV like, oh, dude.
Yeah, we see what
you can handle. Yeah.
We see what he thinks about us.
Yeah.
He was front and center here when Dirty Chris and Patriot was here.
Yeah, sucking up last night.
Yeah.
And then last night he's like, well, Donnie Green will be there. I don't got to come there. And Donnie Green's not here either. Because Donnie Green's working.
Unreal. It's unreal.
Meanwhile, Bear's at home. He could be here, but he's at home munching, watching TV. Not even trying to show up for Ready X and Bobby Blade.
You remember when Chris said that his dad wore a toupee for a little bit? There he is with a toupee right there in the red tights. It was he was Dandy Don Star there.
He didn't answer me.
They big timed you.
He did. He did. He just cut you off too, didn't he? What's he doing?
He big timed his own son. He's 4 times. It's because the mullet.
Man,
he's jealous that you got mullet. He don't.
There's another guy, Jeff Rowe. Jeff was phenomenal.
Yeah.
God, he was Jeff. Honestly, the first time I ever saw Jeff, Deputy Dog, he come up and he said, X, he said, have you seen this new guy? And I said, no, who you talking about? He said, the hillbilly. I said, no, I haven't met him yet. And he said, brother, he's got it together. And I said, really? And he said, yeah. Lord Jed just killed Dickie right there. He just killed him.
Oh, he's going to get a receipt.
I promise that's going to happen.
Yeah. Remember when Ron would have the gigs on his...
Yes. Yeah.
Throwing punches. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the fans said, X, you're bleeding. I said, bleeding? I said, what? I had just wrestled Ron Starr.
Yeah.
And I looked down, and I've got a big slice mark on my arm up here. And I'm like, what in the crap happened? What is this?
Didn't he get you between your eyes, too?
No,
he didn't?
No, fortunately, no. But he did. Lord, Jed greener than a goose right here.
Get the do-si-do.
Aftershock.
Jeff Rowe, I swear, though. Jeff was awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's the thing, man. All the guys were phenomenal.
Yeah, everybody could go. Yeah. Everybody.
And look at that. He's asking for a handshake.
Asher's handcuffed. Who's he handcuffed to?
I think that's Tutter, Rowdy Red.
Is that Tutter, bud?
I think so, yeah.
Hey, there's a guy. They mentioned Outlaw West last night.
Yeah.
Yep.
Outlaw West, Rowdy Red, phenomenal. Phenomenal.
I worked a lot with, I worked around the loop early on when I started working for Dale Mann. Worked around a couple loops actually with Outlaw West every night. and always had good matches with him and everything. Learned a lot from him and everything.
Yep.
Hitman Tony was my first ever match in the MWA. I'd worked before for several years, but when I went to the MWA, it was a whole different ball game. So Hitman Tony was my first ever MWA opponent, and I was a nervous wreck and everything. But he got me through that, and I worked with him a couple other times after that too, and everything. And we always did great. However, working with Rowdy Red, man, I loved working with Rowdy Red, man. He was amazing. I mean, he doesn't get enough credit. Hitman Tony doesn't get enough credit. Hitman Louie don't get enough credit.
Oh,
you know,
Harry's awesome
Yeah.
too. Harrison is awesome.
Yeah.
Harrison, Hitman Louie, Hitman Tony, Rowdy Red.
Yep, Rockin' Ronnie Travis. You remember him?
Ronnie Travis.
Yep.
Chris Michaels, he did the Comet. He was young. He was a kid.
I worked with him a lot. Sean Casey,
Sean
dude.
Casey.
I worked with Sean Casey. Had that one feud with him, man, and it was amazing.
Yes.
What about Casey Chaos?
Casey Chaos is awesome, dude. I liked working with Casey Chaos. Him and Dick Dalton, they were the done deal. It was him, Dick Dalton, and Max Sled, and they were the done deal. Except Dick Dalton always wanted to do this stupid little move to me he called it the dimple smacker, and I call it the beefcake because it was old beefcake move, Bruce Beefcake move, where he stick his head between. He would stick your opponent's head between the legs and just jump up and down.
Yep.
And I'm like, what does that even do? You know, that's stupid. But he would do it to me as a rib every match. I'm just like,
somebody got a question for you, Bob.
Yep.
who is it?
It's Crystal Rose. She said, Bobby, do you have the mud match between Aunt Bonda and lovely Laura on tape?
Yeah, it's on YouTube actually. It's I can send it to you in the link later on after the show's over.
That's right.
But it is on YouTube already. Actually, if you go to Lone Wolf Bobby Blade on YouTube, go to playlist, search Southern Wrestling Alliance. It's in there. It's SWA Lexington. I don't remember the date. It's 94.
That's where we started. That's where he was there before me.
Yeah.
A couple months.
No, I started in 91. You started in when? 93, 94?
No, earlier than that.
Was it earlier than that?
Yeah, it was earlier than that.
Yeah, I started in 91. And I worked for SWA and those type of shows and everything early on and everything. And then when I went to the MWA and worked for Dale Mann, it was a completely different ball game.
Different ball game.
Yeah.
Do you remember this? Fargo and like I was telling her, Fargo and Hayes just show up at a UWF show.
Yep.
And the first time in was in Paris, and Fargo beats Dirty Chris 3 times in a row.
Mm-hmm.
There was a story told there. A lot of guys didn't pick up on it. Some of us did, some of us didn't, or some of them didn't, I should say. But anyway, I had the feeling, and I want to know if you had this feeling, that they were there nothing more than talent scouting.
Yep. Yeah, because it wasn't long after that that Fargo bought the MWA from Dale Mann.
I got a phone call, and it was Danny Fargo, and he said, "Exa, brother." I said, "Yay, Hall Scat, what's going on?" He said, "You like to come to work for MWA?" And I said, "Do what?" He said, "Would you like to come to work for MWA?" I said, "Yeah, heck yeah." And it wasn't, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks later, bingo.
Yeah.
I was in Georgetown under a mask as Dr. X.
Well, you had worked for Dale Mann several times before that too,
Yes.
and everything, and Dale loved you.
Yeah.
It was like everywhere that X went, and then once again, I don't have the air pump out trying to blow up his ego. Since X has been in the business, every single promoter has loved him from right off the bat, and they were like, "We see money in this guy," and they were right.
He
They
is
were right.
money.
Yeah.
I mean, we did. I've told guys this, and they look at me like I'm an idiot. But if we did a 4-day deal, I made $300 a night on gimmicks. That's $1,200.
Yep.
Honestly.
Look, he's getting ready.
Exactly.
He's getting ready to rip his shirt off.
Hey,
Yeah.
Bobby,
He
I
has the Hulk Hogan.
got a question for you. Do you have a extra rated X shirt that you could give me?
I do not.
Hey,
You have to buy it from the source.
He's got them. Don't let him lie to you. He's got them. They're hid away.
I do not.
Hey, I actually found 2 of my old shirts, just going through some stuff, and I went, "Dang, check that out."
I got a couple of mine hanging up in the closet. I got one that says It says Blade on the front in red letters, and it's got a dagger going through the A. And on the back, it says, I am not a role model. And then I've got another one, and Larry said it last night. It says, on the back, it says, no, I am not on steroids.
Dude, that was
I like that.
And then I had one, too, made up. On the front, it says, I love Bobby Blade. And on the back, it says, I hate Bobby Blade. So no matter if I was heel or babyface, you could buy the shirt and wear it any way you wanted to.
Yeah. And the thing about this was, every 6 months, I got in a pattern. I'd work maybe 6 months, turn heel, work heel 6 months. Okay? They would rip up my shirts. They would cuss me, tear up my pictures, turn back baby face. I'd have a fresh new table ready to roll.
They'd be right back to loving you.
Selling the far out of them, man.
And the thing is, though, is every time he opened up the yard sale, everything would sell out.
Yep.
Every show.
Yeah.
That's how over he was.
Yep.
Especially people
Everybody
could
enjoys
people
it.
could learn a thing or two from Rated X, from Bobby Blade.
Dude, I mean, honestly, I was in the business for one thing. I didn't party. I was as straight as an arrow. I smoke a cigarette longer than a wagon tongue now. Fortunately, I quit that. But
Oh, you did quit?
yeah, I've been quit for a
Awesome.
little bit. But I had no vices, man. So my goal was when I was wrestling was to make a dollar bill, bottom line. That's it in a nutshell. You know, I wasn't going to go drinking. I wasn't going to go right across the road over here at the Continental Inn, the one and only ever Continental Inn heavyweight champion right here.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
I said, who am I putting over for this belt? They said, oh no, brother, you're the Continental Inn heavyweight champion. I said, okay, Dirty Chris. I was like, all right.
Oh man, those Continental Inn shows were great,
Oh,
man.
they were awesome.
We had Lawler in there one night. Were you there? You were there for the Lawler,
Yes.
the Lawler show over there. It was
Yeah.
awesome. It was Lawler and Chris Harris, Wildcat Chris Harris against Chris Hayes and Scott Hayes in the main event. And then I was on semi-main, a handicap match. It was me and Abyss against Lord Humongous. It was a legitimate 7-foot guy, and he was
Yes.
a wall of muscle.
Yeah, he was-
and he was a good dude. His name is Ryan Wilson, and he worked on TNA as Triton. You remember that?
Yep, I
Yeah,
remember.
did the alien gimmick.
Yeah, yeah.
And great guy. But every one of those Continental Inn shows were awesome, except for one. One of them I did not like, and they brought it up last night. The one we were at poolside.
Yep.
Because I was managing Bear, and he was wrestling Donnie Green for the MWA heavyweight title, and the Continental Inn security thought it would be funny if they came and snatched me out of from ringside and took me back to the dressing room and everything. And I was fighting them. I was looking up at Bear. I was going, Bear,
I remember that.
help!
I remember that. Could you tell us the story?
Yeah, I'm like, Bear, it's a shoot! Help! Help! and he's just sitting there and he looks at me and goes, what? And he went on with the match and everything. Finally, I get back to the back. Dirty Chris is back there. And they set me down. The security guards set me down, and they start laughing. And I said, don't you? And I'm calling them every name in the book. And Chris is like, what happened? And I said, these effing idiots right here done picked me up. And they was choking me and stuff, like choking me and crossing my legs. And I'm sitting here squirming and all that stuff. I said, they brought me back here and everything, so I couldn't cheat and blah, 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 blah. And then Chris was like, well, go on back there. So I'm like, you sure? And so Chris is cussing them guys out. And I go back out to the ringside and everything. As soon as I step through the curtain, here comes more security guards, and I said, "Don't you even dare!" I had a switchblade that I would carry.
Yep.
That's why they called me Bobby Blade early on, because I always carried a switchblade.
And the knife on your shirt doesn't lie.
No, yeah, because you didn't know back in this day, you didn't know anything could happen, and you had to make sure that you were protected at all times.
Exactly.
Is that
Yep.
Moe's right there? Is that Moe's on the corner over here?
I think so, right over here in the
Yes.
blue.
We
Yeah,
got
it
a
is.
special guest here. We got security man cam tonight.
Who? I'm glad he's here. I need special security.
Is that Paul
Hey, I
Blart?
got you right now. Don't
Yeah.
do it. Don't do it. I've been called that all day today.
Jesus.
But yeah, watching this right here.
Look at the fans, though, Johnny. Look how they're like they're just focused on what's going on.
Especially
You know
on the
what I'm saying?
entranceway. Look at that. They're just standing there intently watching.
And this is after the main event. They're staying around. Normally when you get the 3 count at a wrestling show in the main event, people are up and out the door. You can see a little bit of it happening. But look at there's like what 250 people still.
Yep.
Just standing there looking at what's going on.
And look, they're reacting to what's
Standing
happening
in the
there.
chairs.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
because
what they can see.
at the end of the show, you didn't know if something else was going to break off. That's how we programmed those people. You know,
Yep.
something else could have kicked off, and you know.
That's the way to do it, though. That you told the story. You invested them so much that they want to stick around and see what was about to transpire.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
Because they already had it inside their mind that anything could happen at that moment.
Yeah.
Keep the fans on your feet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. That's the whole point. You gotta learn to teach the fans how to invest into what you're doing.
Rather than make them come back for more.
Yeah, because if they're not buying what you're doing, you ain't gonna be seeing them next week.
Yeah.
When you come to wrestle again, you're gonna be like, God damn, what happened to the people?
Johnny Lee, here's what kills me, man. You'll have a show, say Kyle Maggard, AMW goes into town up in the mountains, and he runs it and does phenomenal, draws 800,000 people, right?
Yep.
So 3 weeks later, another group is going to go up there and run it because they saw how well he did.
Yep.
But yet, and Kyle's sitting there letting that town simmer and boil to come back to it, right?
Yep.
But these guys want to go in and hot shot a show and try to steal off, basically it's trying to steal his crowd.
Yep.
And you don't do business that way, man. But honest to goodness, if that had happened to Dale Mann, Danny, somebody would have got killed.
Yeah,
Yep.
for real.
Just
For
like
real.
what they said
I mean,
last night.
it's straight up. I mean, you don't do business that way. You don't
Yep.
go where somebody else is running the show. You don't go in that county and run.
It's basically disrespect what they do because
That's all
when
it
they do
is.
that, it kills what the company that was there earlier had already built.
Yeah, Company A is trying to build that show
Yep.
up.
And then Company B comes and tries to steal that
Yeah.
crowd. That's disrespecting Company A.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now, Kyle Maggard's running some killer shows down
Yeah.
there. I mean, honestly, he is. There's shows down there that are drawing phenomenal. The talent is awesome. Good matches. Guys are just phenomenal down there. Young guys, he's got a mix of young and old guys, and Zodi comes down there, Chris Crow's down there, Stan Sierra, of course, Marty Clay, who is awesome. We were talking about young guys a little bit late, and man, I'm telling you, Marty Clay's phenomenal.
I love
Yes,
Marty
he
Clay.
Definitely is.
I love Marty Clay.
Yeah,
Marty's one of those guys that does definitely listen. He doesn't
yeah.
do hot shotting. If he's going to do a move, he's going to make sure that matters.
Is that Sterling?
That is Mount Sterling. That is the Parker's show right there. SCW.
Yep.
There's Colonel Tom right there.
Yep.
This is Jeff Vickers when he was doing Cheek Aftershock against Andy Ray and that crazy death match thing they did where they was slicing each other's forehead open with scissors.
Yeah, I can't do this. Jeff migrated to doing this kind of stuff, and I would ask him, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Why? Why are you doing that?
Exactly. Because
And his answer, he loves it. He loved it. Honestly, he loved it. And
But-
I'm like, that ain't for me.
yeah, because you're basically getting sliced open with anything that is sharp.
Well, I went in up there for the Parkers, and we built the Gentlemen's Club up with Jim Chadwick, myself. I can't remember. There was a couple other guys in that, but I can't remember who we brought into it. And we would be cutting promos, and Colonel Tom would be doing it. He would be doing the announcing, and he'd have to turn around because we would crack him up so much. He didn't want the fans to see him laughing, but he'd be turning around. And you could see him doing this,
Bouncing up and down.
Bouncing up and down.
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah.
As far as MWA goes, did you ever say what your favorite moments were?
My favorite moments were the guys, but the riots, the Chris Hayes angle
Yeah.
was the top. That we drew off that forever.
Yeah.
Honestly, But then working the name guys like Wolfie D, I worked Wolfie 2 or 3 times up there.
Yeah.
We swapped the belt back and
Working with all the Memphis guys.
yeah. And the thing is the first night in, Wolfie and I worked, and then I was down in the mountains working in a rooster pit
Yep.
down there where they do rooster fights. And Wolfie comes in and he goes, X, is it me and you? Get it switched to me and you, because the deal was he knew I could work. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
He didn't know those
Yep.
guys, but he took the booking just to make a payoff. But I mean, we had great matches together. Dundee, I worked Dundee. I don't know how many times. He's going to hit you for the first time with that. If he threw that left,
Boom.
geez, OP.
Yeah. There's 4. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you.
No, just all those guys. Paul Diamond
Yeah.
was phenomenal.
Yeah, he was a super nice
Good
guy.
God.
There's 4 moments in the MWA that really stand out for me that I think are my favorite memories, and then these are not in any particular order. One of them is the first time I ever won the MWA light heavyweight title from Ivory Nichols.
I'm saying.
I remember the 3 count happening, and I was the heel, but the people were excited because they were like, finally he's going to get his due,
Yep.
And so that made me feel awesome. And then there was another one when I dropped the light heavyweight title to the Patriot in Mount Sterling, and the pop that he got for winning that, I was like, I did a great job,
Yep.
and everything was perfect. And then 5 things, I should say, instead of 4. Another time was the Battle of the Brutes finish, with me and Angel and Suicide as the referee.
Right.
When we got the standing ovation, I loved that. Another time was my favorite ever match that I've ever had, and that was with a guy named Jason Cross. Everything
Good
was,
name, too.
Yeah, everything was 100% perfect in that match. It was a TV style match. Roger Ruffin was the referee, and everything came off perfectly. But my absolute favorite moment ever being part of the MWA is when they surprise inducted me into the MWA Hall of Fame in 2010.
Yeah.
I was legitimately crying. I was nothing but tears. I was a waterfall, and that was an amazing feeling and everything. I wish I had known in advance so I could have had a speech prepared. I didn't have a speech
He didn't
prepared.
know.
Yeah, I didn't
He
know.
didn't know he was going in.
Well, the thing was we had 2 rings set up. It was a double ring
Yep.
show going on, but the Hall of Fame was taking place in the ring closest to where we were at. I was at the commentary table right outside the entranceway, and we had a screen behind us. And Chris Hayes was doing the ceremony. He inducted Roger Ruffin first. Dale Bass was second. Third was Danny Fargo, and his family accepted. And fourth was supposed to have been X, but Dale Mann was so excited and on fire that he jumped the gun and came on out.
Dale jumped the gun. He came out to my music. I said, "What is going on here?"
And then
The new Rated X.
Tito was running the music and everything, and you can hear Tito going, "Oh shit!" And he quickly switches it and it goes to TNT real quick.
Yeah.
And then X comes out last. And then after X's speech was over with and everything, I'm standing at the commentary table with Tiny, with Aaron Rose, and they had to take our chairs because it was standing room only in there.
Who's that jughead on the screen right now? Who is that dude?
Oh, some dude, man. But
Be here to talk time.
But we're standing there at the commentary table, and then Chris says, we're not done yet. We've got one more guy. We think this would be the right decision. This guy's certainly deserved it. And, and he said a few things and everything. And he says, everybody direct your attention to the screen. So me and Tiny, we kind of, we scrunched down a little bit so, we're not in the way of the screen. And my music starts playing. And the video that's with it is me coming to the ring with Abyss.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Abyss is going in. I didn't see him in the back. I didn't even know he was here. And it's not connecting. And then finally I'm like, that's my music. And I look over at Aaron, and Aaron's going, pointing at me, and he's just in shock and everything. And I'm like, did you know Abyss was going to be here tonight? And he's like, no, it's you, dummy. And I'm like, oh, crap, it is me. So I jump up, and I'm like all smiles because this is what I wanted. I wanted a Hall of Fame induction. That would cap off my career perfectly. So I get in the aisleway and I start heading to the ring. As soon as I get in the aisleway, tears everywhere, man. And I got up there, and the first person I came to was Jeff Vickers. And he was on the floor and everything, and he's standing there like this. And he just gives me a great big hug and everything, and he's crying. And I look in the ring, and X is crying. Jim Chadwick's crying. Everybody's crying. And I'm just like, oh, gosh. And then the crowd, you remember the crowd sitting, Bobby.
Yep.
I was like, oh, my gosh.
Yep.
I'm like, what? This for me? I get in the ring and everything, and there's Dale Mann and Roger and the Fargo family and X and Bobby Green, Big Bobby, and Ron Starr were all there because they got introduced to the crowd.
They were inducted prior, too. They had already been inducted, so those Hall of Famers were there to honor us as well.
Yeah. And
Mike Doggendorf was there that
Mike
night.
Doggendorf, yeah.
Is that not a name for
Yeah. But I got in the ring and everything, and they Chris hugs me and hands me the trophy. It's just like this. And I'm just sitting there crying, and Chris starts crying. And he said,
Yep.
You know, you're the only guy that's stuck with me through the good times and the bad times, and you know, I appreciate oh, look at this, I'm getting ready to cry right now thinking about it. And
but you were the only guy that stayed.
yeah,
That's true.
Honestly.
and he was real appreciative and everything. Handed me the plaque, gave me a hug and everything, and then handed me the microphone. I'm like, oh gosh, what am I going to say? So I started talking about. You know, it feels great to be honored for your body of work and all that stuff and everything. And I said, you know, being inducted in the Hall of Fame doesn't mean that you're old unless it's rated X. and then, because I would always take shots at Jimmy whenever possible. But, you know, that was the best moment
Oh yeah, no
of
doubt.
my entire career.
That ranks up in probably my 5 best deals. I know in the title histories it says I won my first belt from Dirty Chris. No, and that is one of my highlights. I went over Billy Marino for that belt, and the reason being, here's Billy Marino, who was the ICW Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
You know?
Bill Martin.
And Fargo thought enough of me that I was going to be the face of his MWA.
Yeah.
And for his whole time, I was the face of his MWA.
Yeah,
honestly.
100%.
I mean,
That's what I'm talking about.
and the thing is, you know, we were in Georgetown, Kentucky. You know,
Yep.
we drew every Sunday night, and I don't care what any guys have taken pot shots at me, ego, whatever it is, and said you didn't draw those houses. I beg to differ.
You did draw.
Hey, the night I worked Dundee, I don't know if you could got any more people in there.
I'll eventually put that on YouTube. It's just the match only, but I've got it, and
Also,
and
his
the camera's
merch,
all the way zoomed out, so you can see the all.
It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And we got a question. We got something from Mark Morris. He
Hey,
said,
Mark
do either
Morris.
of you ever see a day when Kentucky promoters honor a territory type system? It would weed out some companies, but it would also allow those that to actually make some money.
Let me touch this because I
Okay.
promote.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
Mark, we're actually doing that right now. Myself, Kyle Maggard, Terry England, and Brandon Wilson.
Yep.
The 4 promotions right there we work together. Terry runs West, I run Central, Brandon runs more of the South down there, and Kyle's got the East. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And if Kyle needs whatever, he can call me. Brandon needs whatever, he can call me. If I need something, I know I can call any of those guys, and they're going to be there for me. Terry, same way. We try to back each other up because, and there's other promoters out there, and I'm not going to say that we don't try to help them or whatever. Some guys don't ask for help.
Yep.
Some guys are running closer to some of our shows, and we try to, you know, you want to see everybody do well, because if everybody does well, that means wrestling's doing well, right?
Exactly.
But what I don't want to see, and I've been a stickler for this, and that's why I'm the biggest prick in Kentucky wrestling, I don't want to see the crap. I don't want to see the crappy shows. I don't want to see that, because all they're doing is killing towns.
Exactly.
You know, that means that I got to work that much harder if I want to go in that town to build it back up, to let them see good wrestling. You know what I mean?
Yep.
and then that's it in a nutshell. But I mean, there's a bunch of us that do work together right now. So
Exactly.
you know, but you got to do it the right way. The thing is you got to give the people a show. You got to let them see a good show.
Yeah.
Bottom
Exactly,
line.
because if you don't,
Yeah.
then they're not gonna be coming back the next week or
No.
the next month.
He opened the shows up for MWA more than anybody that I ever remember. There's a reason he did that.
Yep.
Because our opening match was got to be as good as the main event was.
Yep.
That's why that match sets the tone for the whole show.
Yeah. People don't understand
Yeah.
that opening match is the most important match because it's
Yep.
gonna set the
Yep.
tone.
You got any more questions over here?
Oh yeah, we do. We got
Let's answer some.
we got
people.
Moses Trailer the fourth. He said 2 legends of Kentucky wrestling.
Thank
in
you,
the
man.
building. James Hager said, "I remember the Dundee match. Good memories. G-Town was always packed."
Always packed. Yes.
Always.
Yeah, Chris Hager's here too. He said, "My top memory of the MWA will always be Gypsy Joe smacking the coke." out
No,
of my very-
not Gypsy Joe. Gypsy.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
Gypsy. Randy Harris.
Randy Harris.
Yep.
He said, "Smacking the coke out of my very young hand, and my father jumping that yellow rope."
Yeah, that yellow rope took more abuse than any
Yeah.
of us. Anything? You got any more?
Let me look.
Look and
Gotta
see,
find
man.
them. All from Chris Hager and also Mark. He said, "Humongous was so good. He was too nice for the business.
Yeah.
Could have made it big time if he had a little dark side to him. He was just too nice."
He was a good guy. I brought
Yeah.
him down to. I used to do Clayton Mobile Homes, do promotional stuff for Clayton Mobile Homes. Blade worked a few of them for me. I brought Humongous down to one of those shows, and my crowd hadn't seen him down there. They had seen him up here at Continental and that kind of stuff. Hadn't seen him down there. They had seen Abyss as Prince Justice. They seen Wildcat because I did the high school shows. Danny allowed me to run the Lincoln County High School down there, and I wrestled Abyss down there one night. And my mom, first time she ever saw me live, came to the ring, and Abyss had me down, and he said, "X, we got him. There's a little old lady coming to the ring." And I said, "Where?" And he said, "Right there." And I look over and I said, "Dude, that's my mom." I said, "Put it to me. Pour the cold to me, man."
I remember my mom always told me, she said, "I don't mind you wrestling, but if you ever bleed, I'm coming in that ring and getting you out of there." Well, it was me and Angel teaming up against the Assassins, which was Suicide and what was the other guy's name?
Clark Monjou.
Yeah.
Clark Monjou.
Yeah, he was a good dude.
Yes,
but
baby.
we're wrestling them in a street fight. Suicide hits me with something. Boom! Oh, now he posts me, and I go down. Zoop. I get back up, gushing blood, and I look over. I see Jesse got my mom over there, holding her back. I'm like, man.
Yeah.
She wasn't kidding when she said
No,
she
she
was coming.
She was keeping her word.
We would meet at his house. Me and Jeff Rowe, we'd meet at Blade's house, right?
Yep.
When we were going to shows, especially if we were on a long road trip. We'd
Yeah.
meet at his house. His dad intimidated the crap out of me, man. His dad was so stern looking. We would walk in, and I'd try to be cordial and respectful. And his mom, sweet as could be, and I'd say, "Mr. Smith, how you doing?" And he would go. It was like he was going. And I'd be like, "Oh my God, what did I do to him?" But then he would message me, and he goes, "Dude, we just heard Back in Black. Dad's throwing the X side up."
Yeah, oh, there was one time he had I got it now. He had one of the Alexa things, and he'd be like Alexa, Lexi, and he couldn't say the name right. Be like Alexa, Lexington, Lextown, and then finally he'd get it. He'd say it, and it'd light up and everything. He'd be like, "Play Rated X's music," and then it'd play like Rated X sounds, like Rated X-rated sounds, and I'd be like, "Alexa, stop!" But then I said, "Alexa, play Back in Black," because that was X's song, and it finally started up and everything. And then there's my dad.
Throwing the side up.
Yep, throwing the X up.
But I'm mercy.
That's what it's all about, though. It shows that he thought the world of UX.
Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. We would be we'd be working the shows and stuff, and I'd look and I'd see where his mom and dad were sitting, and they would always. His mom would always be like grinning, always. She was so sweet. She was a sweetheart.
Yeah.
She really was. But his dad would be like this.
Never say a word at the shows.
Never.
Never.
But he was enjoying himself, man. I mean, but he intimidated the crap out of me. I was like, what have I done to him? You know?
Yeah, he was very emotionless
Yeah.
and expressionless and everything.
Yeah.
He was afraid to let somebody know that he liked something or that he was having a good time. You'd be like, you enjoying yourself? Not really. But did
Look
you
at
like
that.
that? No,
We
did
got
you like
tough.
that match? No, that's the stupidest thing I ever seen. And he loved it, you know.
Yeah.
That's right.
Hey,
Now we got Tuffy right there.
That
Yep.
building right there packed. When Danny went over there, it took a while to build it up. But when the Parkers took it, and Danny built it up, but when the Parkers started running that building, I remember, man, there was several, me and Jim came out and worked Shane and Sherry Martell.
Yeah. Oh, I love Sherry.
Jesus Christ, she slapped the dog stew out of me one night. But it was a slap, you know.
Yep.
And I knew. I was like, well, heck, you know, lay it in there. And I didn't have to tell her twice.
Yep.
So
She knew to lay it in.
Oh,
This
God.
right here, this is the building we're talking about. It's Estill Street Jubilee in Mount Sterling. That's what we're watching on the screen right now.
We got Bobby
This is
Green in there.
this is MWA from 2005 heavyweight title tournament. This is actually on the downslide of Mount Sterling when it started dropping a little bit. We lasted over there till 2007, and then we went to Winchester, and everything started picking back up and everything. The crowd started coming back, and we were having good shows and all that stuff and everything. So it was all good again. It wasn't quite to the level that it was in Georgetown, but it was still really good over there.
When I left MWA,
Yeah.
I was kind of burnt out on the business a little bit. You know, I'd been on top in Georgetown, and if we did a 4-day loop, I was in the mains in most of those towns. You know,
Yep.
it just depended, but especially when we had guys like Doug and Billy and Danny was working at the time. You know, they were in the mains, and we were semi and so on, but we were being groomed to take those spots. I mean, I see that now.
Yeah.
But I got burnt out, and when Chris bought it, I worked a couple of shows for Chris in Georgetown, and I just didn't gel with the spots. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Those guys up at NWF, they were spot guys, and we taught Cat, we taught Rob, we taught Suicide, not so much Suicide and Angel because they could work like us. Justice, Abyss, we taught them how to wrestle, not how to spot.
Yeah.
Do y'all remember the Funky Cowboy?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what Donna
I love
Gunter
Funky
has.
Cowboy.
Yes.
Who said that?
Donna Gunter.
Donna, sorry I didn't
Yeah.
get to come and see you, but I didn't get to leave as early as I wanted.
Funky Cowboy actually preached at my father's funeral, and he
Yeah.
was awesome.
He's a preacher, yep.
Yep, he was awesome. I talk to him all the time. I actually talked to him today. So
We actually saw the Funky Cowboy back during the Green episode. We were watching. First thing we see, there's Funky Cowboy doing his thing.
Yep.
And they're like-
another question?
There he is. And the other question is, does anyone know if Ivory Nichols kept wrestling? I always thought he was a good talent.
Oh, he was awesome.
Ivory Nichols was awesome. Could do anything. He was 100-mile-an-hour spot worker, but everything he did was great.
Yep.
He had a hell of a body. Looked the part. Everything was fantastic with him. I know that he left the MWA, went back to work for Roger. Well, never quit working for Roger.
Yeah,
But for some reason, he didn't. Like after that, he didn't stay in the business for some reason. I don't know why, because he was great.
Chris Hager remembers, he seems like he remembers an evening where Doug Vines turned babyface without permission, so to speak. Am I remembering that correctly?
Yep.
If one of you guys remember that.
Yep, that's when he turned. It was his last night at the MWA.
Yes.
When
Okay.
he in Mount Sterling and everything, he turned babyface on you, and the crowd got behind him and everything. Yeah, that was his last night there.
Doug left. I'm not 100% certain, but I think it was over money. because some of the guys found out what I was making and how they found it out. I don't know, because I never told anybody what my guarantee. I had a guarantee. The whole time I worked for Danny Fargo, I had a guarantee. I got a guaranteed payoff. Whether the house was up, down, sideways, it didn't matter. I had a guarantee. And you throw my guarantee in on top of them gimmicks, brother.
Yep.
I was rolling. I mean, I honestly was. I was rolling.
I seen it.
right.
I can attest to that. I seen it firsthand.
Yeah,
That's why you were the Hulk Hogan of the Kentucky wrestling.
I'll say it till I'm dead in the ground. He was the Hulk Hogan. Dale Mann was the Bruno Sammartino.
Yep.
What I say, Danny Fargo was the Jerry Lawler.
Yep.
I'll say Larry D was the John Cena, but damn it, I was the Roddy Piper.
Who was
Hey,
the Randy Savage?
Let's talk about now. We mentioned this earlier, but I want to tell you my 5 top baby faces.
Okay.
Dale Mann,
Yep.
Danny Fargo,
Okay.
Mike Mann. Mike was over. Mr. Breeze, Mike Mann, and his partner. Okay, his partner Billy Travis was over.
Yeah.
But I don't think Billy was as over as this next guy, and that's Bobby Fulton. I think Bobby was
Bobby
over.
Fulton's awesome.
And then I mean, I don't want to but I mean, I was in there. And I base that on gimmicks alone, selling gimmicks, man. Nobody sold gimmicks like I did. Nobody walked out of Georgetown, Kentucky like I did. And I'm talking a wad every Sunday night. And if we were in Mount Olivet, it was a wad. If we were in Mount Sterling, it was a wad. I mean, I was making jack.
Hey, that man know. You ever seen Beyond the Mat?
Yep.
That man know. Right there.
Right.
Hey,
That's why he's the whole
I would work the gimmick table as soon as I'd get to the building. I'd be at the gimmick table before the show started. If it was a 7 o'clock bell time, 8 o'clock bell time, 7, whatever it was, I was gone. I would watch my watch, and when it was bell time, I'd come to the back. But I stayed out there, and I loved, and I hugged, and I patted on every one of them.
And who would you say would be his Macho Man to his Hulk Hogan?
Oh man, I don't know.
Work-wise,
Billy?
Macho could work. I
Billy?
would say Cat.
Cat, yeah.
Yeah,
Cat could
that's
work.
valid.
Yep. I loved working with Chris
Now,
Harris, man.
yes.
I loved working with Chris Harris. Chris Harris is my favorite ever opponent to work with, because the thing is, if you see your name up there against Chris Harris, you're going to have an awesome match. You're going to make some money. You're going to get the crowd into it and everything. Chris Harris, top notch in my book. I love Chris Harris, man. Seriously.
Yes,
We all do.
Chris was good, work-wise, okay? But if we compared gimmicks, he wasn't close. Honestly, he wasn't close. But he was phenomenal. They loved him. But he was a little standoffish.
He never was to me. Never.
No, not to the boys. He
Yeah.
was standoffish. I would watch him at the gimmick table. He was standoffish to the fans.
Oh, really?
Oh, brother, you know me. I worked everybody. Honestly, I did. I worked every person in that building. Hey, God's honest truth. I had fans bring me rings, diamond rings, gold rings. This one lady brought me gold nuggets one time.
Yep.
Honestly. I got so much, and I'd go home and my wife would be like, "Did you get anything tonight?" And I'd be like, just a gold nugget.
Oh, new house and a car and
But they were, and here, Steve, Blade will tell you this.
Who?
Blade, I said it. How many times they played my song?
at least 3 times. At least. And that was on a bad night.
Because I was hugging every person that wanted to hug.
Every
I
single.
acknowledged every person that wanted to be acknowledged.
Yep.
I did, and that's how I made my money.
And I've seen Wildcat Chris Harris stand off this firsthand, because when we were at the NWF, Northern Wrestling Federation, and you could see that he wasn't very outgoing to the fans. He wasn't really working as Chris Harris.
That's his demeanor. It's not a slight on Cat
Yep.
at all. You super guy.
I love him.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Hey, he and I held the tag belts together.
Exactly. That's why he was your Macho Man.
I mean, he and I were the MWA Tag Team Champions. What in God's name is on here?
That is Stud and Jimmy Clough.
Jesus
Jimmy
Christ.
Felcher.
Well,
Yep,
I
recognized him.
I thought that was him.
Yep,
that
that's Jimmy Pilcher.
that stud right there, he needs to be taken back, and they need to cut him. That's all I'm gonna say. That's
Yeah.
What you gonna?
I like the guy.
I like him too, but I gotta rib him because he killed. I booked him one time and he killed the town.
Oh, jeez.
I booked him one time.
He told me about that. He told me about that.
No, he's a good guy.
Also, he listens.
He listens to who?
Does he not listen to anyone?
Oh, he does, man. I'm jacking with you. Come on, boys.
Is that Casey Chaos?
Yeah, that's Casey Chaos
Yep, I
there.
recognized by the pink tie.
Yeah, it was cool, man. He had a partner I was talking about earlier, Dirty Dick Dalton.
Yep.
And Max was their manager / third member.
Yep.
Third member. But anyway, they both wore similar tights.
Yep.
And so they looked like a tag team. And they had the feather boas and all that stuff and everything. And they did double team moves. And they were a great team and everything. Got over really well and everything.
Yep.
And Dick Dalton ended up moving to Florida. And he's out of the business completely now. Casey, he went into the military years ago and kind of slowed down wrestling. And now he's out of the business.
All right, let me get you back on track. Who are your top 5 babies?
Man, I don't know. I'd have to look at the names. Number 1, babyface, you obviously. Dale Mann, Fargo. I'm gonna go Chris Harris.
Cat got over. There's no doubt in my mind. Rob got over.
Rob, yeah.
Rob the bomb, but
Rob, let's see, 5.
there's
I
different.
think-
I go era wise.
Yeah.
I go back to the Dale. I mix Dale and Danny
Yeah,
together.
that's what I do too.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, I don't know. Number 5, maybe Rob Williams, maybe
Rob was good too, man.
maybe
He was.
Chad Allegra, maybe.
See, I wasn't around him.
Yeah.
I didn't get.
Carl Anderson.
Yeah, Carl Anderson from WWE.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm not a goof. What's wrong with you, Johnny Lee? Come on.
I know. But, he couldn't handle ribs.
Hello, James
Yeah.
Adams.
Oh, yeah.
James Adams says hello.
Yep.
hey James.
Donna said that you and Bobby Blade were better off on the bad side.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, she
100%.
says that now, but whenever I would turn, she'd cry. Donna, you know you cried.
And,
she says,
I'll say that. I'm better heel than a babyface.
Look.
100 times out of 100.
I'm as good either way.
I'm horrible babyface.
I'm a better heel, but I'm a good baby face.
Yep.
I was a good baby because I loved everybody.
Yep.
But that made it more important when I did my turn.
Exactly.
But Donna says, tell about the amount of pictures she has.
How many pictures does she have?
Dude, she came to Vic the Bruiser's retirement show over. We were in what town was that? Crap. I'm losing my train.
Liberty?
No. This was over where Vic lives in Radcliffe, over in that area.
Yeah.
Okay. It wasn't Radcliffe, but it's
Starts with a B.
yeah. Crap. I can see it right now, but I can't.
Brandenburg.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yep, that's the one.
She came to Brandenburg and she brought this photo album. Blade, I swear it was this thick. I bet she had 100 pictures of me, and she had I don't know how many of you.
I'd love to see it.
It was fun. I was like, my gosh, and it was just about every picture I ever did, and I would do 3 different poses a month.
Yep.
You know, I did one where I was laying on my pool table with nothing but the belt.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, I sold it like
That's
crazy.
a classic.
I know that one you got. I got one of you where you're wearing a red, white, and blue shirt, red, white, and blue pants. You
Yeah.
got sunglasses on with stars on them, red, white, and blue hat.
Yeah.
You got a belt. You got that SSW
Yeah.
title.
Hey.
And you're sitting here going like this to the camera. I'm like, golly.
Larry Corey stole my gimmick. What as Fargo used to say, dollar bill, Jimbo, dollar bill. So
And Chris Hager said all Dad worried about on Sunday nights was selling enough pictures and shirts at the table for us to get McDonald's on the way.
well, I understand that part too.
Yep. Oh, we got a Steele here. He said Reddy X isn't the Hogan of Kentucky. He is the Stone Cold of Kentucky.
Oh,
Johnny Bruner said that.
that's a good
Hollywood.
Thank you, man. Hey, that's a good compliment, man.
Hogan bigger than Stone Cold.
I don't know. Austin got it.
I mean, yeah,
Both them
Austin.
guys are
Yeah.
on the Mount Rushmore, man. So
Yep. John Cena as well with the three of them, with the two of them.
all right, give me your 5 heels. Who are your 5 heels?
You, Doug Vines.
Yeah, silent assassin.
Yeah.
God.
Were you there when Billy Travis turned heel and was working with Dale, and we were with Billy Travis?
No.
Billy Travis. Because he was an awesome heel, and we did like a little 3-man where me and Bobby J were his lackeys,
Okay.
and he was awesome to work with.
Wore your tights one night, if I'm not mistaken. Is that
Hey,
right?
he was going to steal him. He was going to steal him. I had to ask him for him back and everything, and he's like, "What tights?" I said, "The ones you got on under your street clothes." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot." And I said, "No, you didn't. Come on, Billy."
Yeah.
Let's see. You, Doug Vines, Billy Travis. Oh man. Chris Hayes.
Exactly. I was sitting there waiting on
Yeah.
it. I'm like,
Chris
Yeah.
Hayes. Because when Chris Hayes was a heel and he was on fire, he was on fire. Let's see.
I'll tell you, somebody else that wasn't bad was Dickie.
Yep. He might be my number 5.
Ron Starr.
Yeah.
Ron Starr, man, he could piss off the Pope.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, he could.
Yep.
Dick Oley would piss off the Pope.
Yeah, he would.
I've seen a few of the shows that he's been on. That's definitely true.
I think heels from back in the day and everything were way more effective than current heels, you know?
Exactly.
Mark, it was Brandenburg. It wasn't Bardstown. It was Brandenburg.
Yep. And that's right, Bobby.
Now-
Heels were effective back then
Now the
because they were not scared to piss off the crowd.
Yep.
No, heck no, that was our job.
Exactly.
If you were healing, your job was to get that baby face over.
That's
any-
why I will
any
never
way.
understand
Yep.
why
Anyway.
today's heels are afraid to be cowards sometimes.
Hey.
If you coward, you can attack the baby face from behind.
You got to shout them up.
Exactly.
You got to shout. You can't slay the dragon if
That's
your
right.
armor ain't shiny.
Like
Exactly.
I always have said before, man, you can't have a great good guy without a great bad guy.
That's right.
You can't have a great hero without a great villain.
Yep.
you know?
MWA,
That's exactly
though,
right.
The MWA was, and we've said it before, but the MWA was the deal in Kentucky.
Yeah.
It was. Danny Davis had started OVW, but it wasn't to the effect of when Cena and Lesnar and all those guys come through. But when those guys come through, it was a totally different ball game because they were getting paid by Vince.
Exactly.
We were getting paid by Fargo. Big difference.
Exactly.
Big difference. But you know what I'm saying? They had a corporation behind them,
Yeah.
and we were the show. We knew that if we didn't draw, we weren't going to make a dime. you
Yeah.
know?
Exactly.
And so that's why we went out and busted our butts the way we did. You know, that's why
Yep.
we got over like we did.
And y'all built
He was a
y'all
good
built the
worker.
entire
Yep.
crowd up.
Dude, that old man is not sat down.
That's Cliff.
He wants
That's
to
Cliff.
fight everybody.
That's Cliff. Yep.
Cliff was in Mount Sterling every week. He's passed away now, though. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, look at that handsome devil right
Look
there.
at that. It's Bobby Blade.
Yep, with a bow tie. I
the
guarantee.
dress
I guarantee you, I'm gonna get on the mic and cut a promo
Yep.
because that's what I do.
Exactly. That was one of your best aspects whenever you were retiring. As soon as you got on that mic,
Well,
you were getting those fans pissed.
let me get back to why when I left, I was burnt out.
Mhm.
I wasn't a spot monkey.
Yep.
I worked the people. Difference.
Yep.
And I could see where it was changing. I could see where Chris and Roger wanted to take it a different way.
Yep.
And nothing against Spot, but these people here did not buy because Cat and
Yep.
them, they went out the first night in and they had it was a phenomenal match. But the people just laid an egg on them, and they cut to the back, and they were like, "Man, we did everything." I said, "That's the deal. You did everything you could instead of working them."
Exactly.
Do you remember when Fargo was running and they had that lucha match with Tarek the Great
Yes.
and an American kickboxer?
Yes, we
and
took-
the people farted on it.
Yes, me and Kickboxer talked about this.
Yeah.
2
Jeff
months
Vickers
ago.
is
Yeah.
working on slaying the crowd right now.
They had a killer match.
It was awesome.
But the people laid an egg on it.
Yep.
They went to IWA and did that same match, and it got over like a house of fire.
Yeah.
And they did it.
But the thing is, though, is the rest of the matches on the card were all Memphis style matches, and
Yep.
they all got over. You know.
Yep.
It wasn't what you have to know the crowd that you're working in front of and what they like to see, and you've got to work for them. You don't work for the boys in the back. You don't work for yourself.
That's right.
You know, you work for the crowd and the guy paying you.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, the boys in the back ain't gonna give you their payoff.
Exactly.
Just because you entertained them.
Yeah.
And if the crowd ain't entertained, then the crowd ain't gonna be coming back.
Exactly.
That's
the
something
main
that they
thing.
need to know.
If I go out there and I look at somebody and say 400-pound fat women, blah blah blah, and everybody's pissed, and then somebody comes out and says, "What'd you say about 400-pound fat women?" Boom, and that gets over. Well, then people are going to come back and
Yep.
wonder
And that
what's
tells
going to
the
happen to
story,
them next
too.
time.
I go out there and find the biggest woman in the crowd, and I love and hug on her and pat.
Yep.
That's the whole deal.
Yeah, that's one of my things today too, man. Is sensitivity these days, man.
Oh,
It's
Jesus
insane, man. It's like somebody. I was working for New South over in Lawrenceburg, and my thing was 400-pound fat women.
Yep.
That was my promo.
Exactly.
And I get back to the back, and they're like, "Oh, Bobby Blaine's out here body shaming everybody and blah 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 blah," and I'm just like, okay, that's Bobby Blade saying that stuff.
Exactly.
That's not me saying that stuff. That's my gimmick saying that stuff.
Yeah.
To try to get heat, whether it's cheap heat or not, regardless, eventually
Yep.
somebody's going, eventually I'm going to get what's coming to me.
And part of their snowflakeness because that's how a heel is supposed to act.
Well, the guys that today they're woke.
Yep.
No, it's a work. It's not being called woke. It's called
Yeah.
being a wizard.
Exactly.
There's a difference.
Exactly.
Go out there and get your heat. Get over as a baby. Get your heat as a heel.
Yep.
Work the people. It
Yep.
doesn't matter if you're there as a heel, piss them off. If you're there as a baby, love and hug and pat.
Yep.
Exactly.
That's it in a nutshell.
A heel is supposed to say whatever it takes to get that crowd pissed off and wanting to see them get their head beat in by the baby face.
Yeah.
If he goes out there and he don't say nothing and the crowd isn't buying into it, you ain't seen that crowd again because guess what? They're not be coming to see you do anything the next time.
And you can't give them everything in one night.
Exactly.
No.
Spread it out over time.
Yep.
Jimbo, Fargo used to say, Jimbo, we're going to have to kill somebody next week if you keep on.
Yep.
He told me that every
Because you
Sunday.
gotta save some for the next week.
Yep.
You gotta
Yep.
save some for the next year.
The
You
thing
can't just
is,
give them one.
Well, Johnny Lee, the thing about MWA is there were so many good guys that came through there
Yeah.
over the years. I don't know how many we ain't even talked about tonight.
I
but
know.
there was so many guys at MWA that were just phenomenal wrestlers. They were phenomenal. And it's like I said earlier, if you didn't learn how to work watching them guys, man, there was something wrong.
Yeah.
And then the name guys that were brought in to enhance us, they were there to put us over. It wasn't we putting them over. They was putting us over.
Yep.
Hey, Dundee got mad as could be at me one night because he had to put me over. He did.
Was that in Nicholasville?
That's Nicholasville when he stretched me. He tried to stretch me, and I said, when I get up from here, you little midget, I'm going to beat you to death.
Ref James Adams said, Jimmy could piss my mom off quick.
Oh, God, yes. Miss Adams hated my guts. She tried to hit me with that cane, I don't know how many times. And me a baby face. She hated me. What about Deputy Dog?
Yep.
Jeez.
What about Deputy Dog?
Deputy Dog was awesome.
Yeah.
Who asked about Dog?
Donna.
It was Donna.
Oh, yeah. Deputy Dog was a great guy, man. Phil Shipp, he was awesome. Passed away now. Great guy. Super friendly guy, man.
Jason Pridemore said,
Hey.
Bobby Blade has always been a great mentor. The hot dogs and handshakes were a bonus.
My condolences to you.
But it's true.
Deputy
The
Dog
NWA.
worked MWA.
Yep.
Exactly.
Deputy Dog come in.
Yep. Wasn't long, though.
No.
He wasn't there long.
No. He was, once you see him, you saw him kind of guy.
Yeah.
But super good
Yeah.
guy, man.
Great guy.
We went down to Hazard, and me and him and Jeff were together. My wife, Jeff's wife, and the valet girl that did for Todd and Rick.
Roxette.
Roxette.
Yeah.
We were all together. We stopped at this little restaurant to eat, right?
I was with you all on this, if this is the same thing I'm thinking about.
Wouldn't service.
Yep.
Were you with us that
Yep,
night?
I was.
Yeah, would not service. You was
Yep.
riding with Jeff then.
Yep.
Yeah. Jeff and Joanne, yeah.
You remember the time that we went to the Shoney's coming back from Indiana? It was me, you, and Jeff and Joanne, and we're about tore that place.
It was a Bob Evans.
Oh, I know. I was about ready to tear that whole building. I was getting ready to take that building down brick by brick.
It didn't matter where we went to. Jeff had to tell everybody that we were wrestlers.
Yeah.
He did, honest to goodness. And so he asked us, the waitress waiting on us said, who at this table you think's a wrestler? And she pointed at me and she said, well, he is. And she pointed at Jeff and she said, and you are. She said, but he's too little.
Oh. And that's my thing, is I don't like for people to call me little or small. You're too small to be a wrestler, blah, 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 and everything, because that really, I can't help that. I might be a small guy and everything, but, I worked hard to get in my position in wrestling and get everything that I've got done. Everything I worked my butt off, and I had to work harder than a lot of the other guys and everything, but just to be accepted.
Exactly.
So
he had to work harder than I did. Honestly.
I mean, I was upset, and I started screaming at this poor woman, and I started calling her every name in the book.
He didn't eat his food. He ordered his food. It come out, and he didn't eat it. He went outside, sat in the van.
Yeah, everybody left. Dale and Vicky. Dale and Vicky were there too, and Dale was like, "Oh Christ!" Yeah, and then I think Vicky was like, "Yep, I'm gonna go on to the car." And everybody started filing out, and they're paying and filing out and everything. But I was going off. I mean, I went absolutely insane, man.
We went to Evansville that night, and we did TV tapings.
Yeah, IWF, Dave Reardon.
Yep. And War Machines. Remember the War Machines?
I like the War Machines.
Yeah, good guys.
John and Rick.
Yep.
John and Rick. Yeah, they were awesome guys. Real
That's
friendly.
Right.
Yep.
And
any other questions or comments?
Rooster said Simba was awesome.
Simba was awesome.
Well, he's misremembering it, so.
No, he's not either.
Yeah, he was.
No, he's not either.
Hey, guys, it looks like we've come up on the time for our goodbyes. It went by fast.
We just started.
I know, right?
What?
But we definitely gonna do a part 2 of this.
Oh, yeah.
With Bob Blade and Ready X. Maybe get someone other than Jed in here also that can also do some storytelling with y'all. Because maybe Dirty Chris Hayes.
Oh, dude, I love that.
Because he's already said he'd like to do it again.
Yep.
Maybe get Patriot in here with y'all as well.
Yep.
I'm still looking for the Patriot. I saw the California.
I know, right? I saw
didn't see
that
the
guy
Patriot.
too. I was like, where's the Patriot at?
Yeah.
But we didn't even scratch the surface on the MWA.
No.
Exactly.
No.
There's still so much to tell
We
for
might
everyone.
do another month.
Exactly.
You can better get who's been booking the guest, Bear.
Bear.
Tell him he's got to add another month and bring
That's
us all
right.
back.
Yeah.
Because we got to bring
Bear owes me a
everybody.
payoff. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yep.
He owes me money. Didn't show up tonight.
Well, guys, now that we're at the finale of tonight, who wants to say their goodbyes first to the people?
You know me too.
Go.
Hey, I appreciate you all watching. Everybody that came to see us at the MWA, you all got to see an awesome production, an awesome show, and you have some awesome memories. I'm absolutely 100% sure of that. Georgetown, Kentucky wrestling was amazing. Everywhere else, the MWA was amazing. We had a very talented crew of wrestlers, managers, referees, valets, announcers. Everybody that was involved with the MWA was amazing. Thank you all for that. Thank you for supporting us over the years. And the thing is all these years later, the MWA closed in 2013, but people still remember it fondly. And that says something about the promotion as a whole. That says something about the wrestlers and the workers that were there at the time and all that stuff. I know I'm going longer than I should be.
No, it's okay.
But the MWA is that's my all-time favorite place to work, is the Mountain Wrestling Association, previously known as the Mid-Continental Wrestling Association, which we didn't even talk about that.
Yep.
But Yeah, that was the best place in the world, man.
The heavyweight title actually said Mid-Continental Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah.
And it was a beautiful title.
Every Sunday night, we were in Georgetown, Kentucky, in front of a packed house, in front of you awesome fans. Every other place that we went, we were in front of packed houses, in front of you awesome fans. Thank you all for the memories. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Search on YouTube, Lone Wolf Bobby Blade. I don't upload that much anymore, but I still am uploading. Please subscribe. I am over 1,000 subscribers now, and I just want people to see these awesome shows and see these memories from back in the day and all that stuff. You see a lot of guys that are no longer with us and a lot of guys that are still around and kicking butt in the Kentucky wrestling scene and everything. So with that being said, I appreciate all of y'all for tuning in tonight and all the questions, all the memories and everything else.
Good deal. Hey, it's always a blast for me to go back and relive some of the funnest times in my life, because honestly, some of the funnest times I've had were right in the middle of that ring.
Yeah.
Right there in Georgetown, Kentucky, and and the reason being, our fans were top notch. Top notch. Without those people sitting in those seats every Sunday, Christmas night, we wouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
so many thanks to those people for supporting us over the years and coming. I would like to know where that belt is. I'd like to know where the heavyweight title is at. I don't know if Chris has it.
I know where the light heavyweight title is. Carl Anderson has that, and he won't give it back to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
He sends me pictures of it. He's holding it hostage and everything, and he laughs about it.
You should have that.
It's it, yeah. Because the thing is that particular belt, that was when Fargo switched it over from the junior heavyweight title to the light heavyweight title.
Yep.
And I was the first actual guy to hold that particular belt.
Well,
Chad Allegra, send Bobby Blade the belt.
Give him that belt back. He deserves it. And here's the thing: whether it was Dale Mann who owned MWA, Danny Fargo who owned it, or Dirty Chris Hayes that owned it, the MWA tradition was none other. There was nothing else like it.
Yeah.
The tradition, the shows, the wrestlers, through all those decades, stayed the same pretty much. Our faces changed, but the quality of the show stayed. When Mark bought in with Chris, it didn't lose anything.
Yeah.
And that's the tradition of the MWA.
Yeah.
And so I just want to thank all the boys that I ever worked with there. I want to thank all the fans that ever come and watched us, and the promoters. If it hadn't been for those guys pushing us to the moon, we wouldn't have done a thing.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
those guys were awesome as well.
Yeah. Mark Morris, he had moved to Savannah, Georgia, and he was driving, I think he said it was 11 hours one way to come do the shows in Winchester. And then as soon as it was over with, he'd go right back and everything. We have amazing shows in Winchester. I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep interrupting.
No, that's fine.
I get on fire.
And
so.
Charlie Owen said, Carl Anderson is just too sweet. Well, he better give that belt back to Bobby Blade. It's only right.
Give it back to Wade. Give Wade the belt back.
Yeah, give way.
That's right.
All right.
But guys, it's been nice.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, you say your goodbyes.
I just want to say it's been a blessing this whole month, and especially in here tonight. I know I ain't said much, but it's kind of great just sitting under the learning tree, be able to watch these matches and hear you guys talk about these stories that I might not have been around for, but I definitely grew up in the MWA, and it's been amazing to have you guys in here. Two absolute legends, 19-time Hall of Famer, the Lone Wolf, Bobby Blade. Thank you guys for everything.
Before you stop talking,
Oh, wait.
ask him the question you ask everybody else.
That's right.
What is the stiffest move
Move.
that anybody has ever hit you with?
No. The question is, when you're working with Bobby Blade, you're saying, please don't touch me ever again. Bottom line. Don't touch me.
Not to run long, I got to ask you, what is the stiffest move in the business?
It's got to be putting this guy over. Golly.
Hey, imagine all the boys. All the boys.
Want to say goodbyes now, security man?
Sorry, it took me a while to get here to the studio. I had to close up the mall and everything. I want to thank everybody that's here. I'm glad, to see Nice Guy podcast and the podcast still doing great. And it's truly a blessing to have Jimmy and Lone Wolf Bali Blade in my life, because they what I've learned is how to just shut up and just listen, and just take their advice and guide me through, and it is a blessing to truly have you guys.
I threw him out of a building.
Yeah.
He
Straight
did.
up. I threw him
You
out
had
of
to
a
learn. Well, guys, it's been fun having you both here together.
Thank you,
Gotta
guys.
do it again.
Awesome.
Even though I having fun,
You ain't getting none.
damn Skippy. Yeet, yeet.